So look, I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens. Welcome back, everybody, to episode 355. Joe, you want to go
687? It doesn't matter.
The numbers are arbitrary.
The numbers doesn't matter.
They're arbitrary.
426.
Super number is 486. Which one is that? Somebody knows. Somebody's screaming at the fucking radio.
Let's just start over today.
It's step one.
This is episode 000.
Yeah, it's a reboot. We have a couple special guests tonight. We have Marilyn Phil.
What's up?
And we have Chuckie O.
Hi, how you guys doing?
So Chuckie O agreed to come back on and have the aliens deep dive. We're going to get into it. He brought visual aids.
My man is ready.
He is ready, capital R, like The Rock. And not The Rock, but The Rock, if you know what I'm... Forget it.
Yeah.
Forget it.
Rock boys
doesn't
in the building
matter.
tonight.
More like...
Crack.
Doesn't matter. We'll just continue. No need for an introduction conversation tonight because I have a feeling there's going to be plenty to talk about. However, I will say this real quick. My wife and I have been beefing the last couple of days.
Ooh.
It's a vacation stress?
No.
Okay.
No, I wish. Over his goddamn dog, Joe.
Oh, she wants a dog.
She really wants it, right?
I knew it.
Of course.
Yeah, going to that party, seeing that little dog.
Yeah.
No.
What are we talking about?
So you actually saw it in person.
It's dogs and kids, man. It's one of them.
Yeah.
They're going to want one of them.
So I'll skip. I'm going to give a little spoiler on my Nerd Week. So it's not really an introduction conversation. It's just taking a bit out of the Nerd Week. I went to a buddy of mine's house. He has a party every year. I call it. He doesn't call it this, but I call it the Boar Bash. Not to be confused with Gore Bash, of course, Joe. From
Yes, the dragon.
But Boar Bash is like an outside. He's got a pier. He's got water by the pier.
Very nice.
It's a very nice ambiance. Yes. And we went. Well, he got a new dog, and within that new dog, Laura found true love.
Of course.
And
Did you have to cut it open like Selena suggested?
She saw no. That was just a duck
to find it sweet.
She wanted to know what made it float.
That's some horror movie shit, man. You need to watch that one.
Oh, for sure. But it sort of flamed the fire.
What kind of dog are we talking about?
It was a pit bull. At his house.
What do they call it? Malleated, living in the striped up.
Brendel.
Brendel.
Yeah.
Not even close to that word.
Talking dinosaurs? Huh? Sounds like you're talking dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Now listen.
Hey, this one here.
I'm assuming you're not interested in acquiring this creature.
Look, a compromise must be struck. Right.
Go
so
cat.
That's what you do with kids, right? Go for hamster.
We have to talk about it, but the conversations have not been the most fruitful.
I feel sorry for all these bottom shelves.
I thought the plan was like when Smeagol went, then like you're free for a long time till you're old.
It's been like
I thought you wanted to go places and do things.
Yeah, so that's what I want. But now her counter argument is if we get one now, it'll probably be dead by the time we retire. And then we could actually
pragmatic, I love it.
Yeah,
she did the math.
That's my kind of shit.
Yeah.
That's my kind of talk right there.
It wasn't a bad point that was made. She's made a couple good points. And I love dogs. I want a dog. I just really have been enjoying the freedom of not having an animal.
Mm-hmm. It's costing us more to board our cats when we go on vacation than it does the flight to get where we're going.
Exactly?
How does one board Butters?
It's not a 4x4.
No, it's there's a 12-step process involving pulleys and counterweights.
So look, we're going to keep nerd weeks as brief as possible, kind of just the facts, or if you have a decent discussion, let's get into a decent discussion, but no deep dives on story points or plot points of something that you've watched. Just if you liked it or you didn't like it. And why?
Wow.
And
I'll
we'll
just
keep
save
it moving
next week.
It'd probably be best if you just did it this way anyway.
Yeah.
You're all of us.
If we all didn't sidetrack.
It's like, and then she walked down the front. And when she walked down the front, she saw a dog. And then she wanted the dog. And she decided to argue with her husband about it for the next 48 hours on why she wanted a dog.
It's not over yet. Not even just 48 hours.
That's the pick of you doing the woo walk on the pier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So with that, we will start with Chuckie O, our least visited guest.
Yeah.
How's your life been recently? Any high notes you want to talk on or low notes? It's up to you.
How do you
It's
like
up to you.
Skullfest, bro?
Yeah.
No, it was a great time.
Yeah.
No, like the...
Wait, you were here?
Yeah.
He was here.
I was one of the first.
Wow. His wife was helping prep food.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised though. You were fucking going.
No,
it was a great weekend.
The kind of new thing, I'm kind of following your footsteps in like YouTube world. I started to, I talked about editing stuff, and then I filmed stuff for my channel. It supports my firearms training business, and I finally got off and have built it, and I'm adding new content.
Right.
Oh, congratulations,
man. So that's kind of my been looking into editing videos and how to do a YouTube channel, all that jazz. So
Yeah.
it's been fun. I'm not expecting crazy things, but enhancing.
It's an enjoyable hobby if nothing else.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
kind of the
That's
thing
cool,
that's
man.
been, the skill that I've been learning over the past few weeks.
I'll tell you, as the polar opposite of YouTube stardom, as some others in the room,
I know nothing about it.
I think I have like 1,500 subs or something.
I
Doing
have
the
5.
doing the diorama stuff. But dude, we all got
Got to start somewhere.
But it is. I mean, like, it is hard. If it's hard for me to take time to create the content, because I have, we do a lot of interesting shit, I think, that people will want to watch, but it's just taking the time. I got to set the camera up and then do it, and then remember to turn the camera off, and it's
Hope the camera doesn't overheat while you're in the middle of filming something and shut down.
or vibrations don't destroy it when attached to it. Right?
Yeah, editing is like the fucking most interesting but most tedious part.
And see,
It is.
I'm good at the tedious stuff. Like I can.
I believe that.
Yeah, I can do that. I can do it. It's been fun.
I believe
That's
that.
awesome.
Yeah.
Anything else? You've been married since the last time you've been on.
Yeah.
Because last time you talked about you got engaged because she liked it and she wanted to put a ring on it. Is what you said.
And since then, Bobby stood in your wedding.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
I had a great wedding. We rented a 74-foot sailboat in Annapolis.
Nice.
And you let this man.
And you got
on
Bobby
sailboat.
on a boat.
I got Bobby on a boat. It was
B.O.B..
great. Yeah.
It's right there in the name.
You know what I
Bob.
said to him that next nerd rage, because he posted. I said 2 questions. How did you get the talented Mr. Ripley suit? And who the fuck let you on a boat?
Yeah.
But I guess I know the answer to both of those.
Yeah.
Just check you out.
He was trying to be Black Mask.
Yeah, no, it was a great time. Had a good time in Annapolis. Had a good little after party with
Skull faces.
mobbing around Annapolis.
I'll fix that. I'll fix that at 7 o'clock.
Oh, we don't call the skull fosses. Remember, it's the skull fosses.
I'll fix that at the 7-minute mark there.
Hey, well, you better. Hey,
Let me write that
you
shit
sure
down.
you don't want to
me-
fix that right now so you don't forget?
No, I'm going to make a note. I'm going to make, like,
Are you sure
Wait,
you don't want to fix it right now?
on 3. 1. Well, we're going to say skull faces on 3. Okay? 1, 2, 3. Skull faces. All right. Continue.
Thank you.
I'll cut it in.
No, it was a great time. Had her parents in and her brother-in-law, not her 4 sisters.
Yes. That's
Yes.
a touchy situation over
Yes.
there. Chuckie.
Yeah, it
Family
is.
drama.
Yes.
Hate to hear it.
Yeah.
Well,
Got to deal
love
with
to
it
hear
now.
it. Hate to live it.
Yeah.
Wow.
But all in all, it was a great weekend. And I've, it's been happy and wonderful.
Amazing.
From before and now and after. So it's great. It's great.
Awesome.
Good.
Awesome.
Is there anything else before we move on?
No.
All right. Marilyn Phil,
I went to AwesomeCon on Saturday for just one day.
I saw pictures.
It was fun, yeah. A lot of costumes. Cool. I didn't.
Did anybody new from Twitter? Sorry.
No.
Hey, I left you on your picture on June 17th. I left you a comment.
I think AwesomeCon's big enough for some of those people to be at.
No, probably not.
I mean, that's what it is.
It was fun. I wasn't there to meet anybody. I was just going for one day because I didn't go
Like
last
meet
year.
anybody from the internet?
No, meet anybody like celebrities.
I know what you mean.
I've gone there
Were
to get
there any
city-
celebrities there?
Yeah, I mean all of
Yeah,
the main,
it's a big show.
the main Shang-Chi cast was there.
Joe, did you not have any interest in meeting them?
No.
Okay.
Are you interested in meeting anybody?
Yeah, I was going to say,
That's
I don't
true.
think that you're a celebrity meeting kind of guy.
No.
I'm actually usually not either. It's got to be something. You had to have a serious impact on my life
Yeah.
for me to just, and most of the time it's not like I don't want a whole bunch of signatures and all
Yeah.
that shit. I just want to shake your hand and say thanks.
Yeah.
The last time I went was for John Bernthal, so that was before COVID.
Who the last?
I mean, they wouldn't even
Chris
have
was
an
there.
open invite to my house. If a celebrity showed up at my house, I'm like, I didn't ask for you to come.
I think the last celebrity interaction I had was honestly by chance, but it was probably one of the best ones I've ever had. It was Joey Fatone.
well,
Oh, yeah. And sick. Hell yeah.
That's right.
to be fair, I do DM many drill rappers throughout the week, so just ask them when it's dropping on Apple Music. You know what I mean? Just
Gets
the facts.
down in the DMs.
The only thing really of note, besides the pictures, was this year was since it's Pride Month, they did as a halftime show from the main cosplay thing. They did a drag show. like a drag queen show.
With race, Too Fast, Too Furious.
Exactly. That's what Tyrese.
These people were decked out. They were decked out to the nines, doing their like a whole pop song on stage and stuff. It was very interesting to see.
That's cool.
Is that cosplay?
Well, it was the halftime.
Can be.
Can be. Well, one of them was She-Hulk, and I was like,
oh,
because this person was about Chris's height or taller. They may have been taller.
Are you saying that you found my calling?
Perfect head for a wig.
And
Boom.
And they looked exactly like the character from the classic like 70s books or like the classic 80s books. It was pretty interesting.
Wow.
So
All right.
She-Hulk doesn't get done too much, but I think it's because the show's coming out soon. Other than that, I finished We Own the City. I think we all probably saw it, right? The ending.
Yeah.
Wheel in the City.
We Own the City.
Oh, We Own the City.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It's a spin-off of
I couldn't hear.
It is
the
7
spin-off of
o'clock
Wheel
on a
of Time.
Tuesday evening.
Yeah.
No, I have saw. I thought it was great. But I will say that like, oh boy,
Chuckie, have you been watching that?
No,
It's about Baltimore, yeah.
there is some like, I'm gonna get canceled.
You haven't gotten canceled.
Are you talking about the
There
the
is
suitor
some
ending?
obnoxious leaning into bumper sticker type mentality. That it's like, I don't believe this happened. I don't believe that this person said these things. Every time you turn around, there's a group of characters that are like always saying the exact same thing. And all of those things I feel like I've read on a bumper sticker. And I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah.
It just seemed like appeasement writing. And what I've always liked about Simon is that while he does get a little preachy at times, it always seems very raw.
Grounded.
Yeah. And this seemed like, well, I searched these hashtags and came up with these things, and I'm going to get these 6 characters to say them at some point during each episode. And I'm just going to put that out there.
What'd you think of how they wrapped it up? Because I think they could have gone way Hollywood with it if they wanted to, and I think it was...
Well, I mean, you can't really, right? Because you got to tell the true story, you know? So, like, it ended how it ended.
Okay.
You know, I think maybe it was a little. There's a scene at the end where the baddest of the bad cop is like giving a speech about being a good cop to an academy class. But as camera pans out, it's not really the academy class. It's like all the other cops from the story, and then they give him like a standing ovation, which is fine. It's a little bit. It seemed a little bit more.
You know, that was like a dream sequence, right?
Yeah, it's like it's like a figurative. He's not a dream. He's awake. He's standing around the courtyard, and he's having like a vision of it, right? But it's supposed to be this figurative metaphor thing. But it doesn't seem like the right show for figurative metaphors.
Right.
Yeah.
I will say that was
like
like
that in particular
just seemed a
was
little weird.
Yeah, it was a little out of place.
Yeah.
It seemed like they didn't quite know how to end that, and they threw that in the end.
Yeah, but otherwise, I mean, I think
What
you
do
know
you think of the
it
Suitor
ended the way-
slant?
The what?
How they slanted Suitor's death.
Yeah, so I mean,
Because they definitely tried to paint it a certain way.
yeah, but I can't remember. I get that shit confused as to whether or not that is the way that they tried to slant it anyway that he killed himself. I can't keep track of it because there's so many conspiracy theories surrounding it.
Yeah. Okay.
You know?
I liked it overall.
I was okay with it. Yeah, I liked it overall as well.
Berthol's accent we've mentioned before is a little bit
Just some of the stuff I was just like, you're taking me out of it. You know, when like, for instance, like the mayor of Baltimore City, I forgot her name.
Marilyn Mosby.
Oh no,
It was definitely not Mos Def.
But
I'd welcome
State's attorney.
Take a shot.
That's right.
You fucking made the Black Star album. You got a chance in my book.
Are you talking about the last lady that was the mayor that got
So the one that they're displaying in this show,
I can't, Cynthia Pugh?
but
Does that sound right?
they paint her out to be a bit of a saint as well.
Is this the one that
And she's not.
You,
And she's
she got
fucking
not.
not.
Ousted later.
That-
Is this the
It
one?
just wasn't during the same
Is this
time
the
frame.
one that's you ain't gonna take
Don't,
money?
I get the
hang on, hang on.
I get them confused. So I'm not going to be able to answer it.
Specifically, she kept saying you can't take money from my babies or something.
Yes,
That's
yes,
the one.
yes,
So
yes,
you know
yes.
which one I'm talking about.
Yes.
So she was the one like that. She got wrapped. She wrote some fucking children's book and got paid dirty
Is that
money for it.
Yeah.
So let me
yeah.
apologize. I meant I get my corrupt Baltimore mayors confused.
Oh, okay.
There's been a hefty sum of them.
Specifically, that's happened since I've lived here, and she wrote that book, and she went to prison. I think she's in prison in Alabama right now.
Oh, well then.
Yeah.
But like, I'll say that like, I just felt like, and they did cover that at the end. It was a little footnote.
Yep.
But it's like, man, you paint her out to be this like noble
I think she was just off her fucking rocker.
Of course, and she was off herself.
Yeah.
The way all these fucking politicians are.
Yeah.
You know, but anyway. But yeah, I thought it was good overall, but I did think it was a little bit more preachy than some of his previous stuff has been. Instead of just saying, look at this system, it's broken. Objectively, how can we fix it? It was like, look at this system, it's broken because of these 7 hashtags. You know, which I found a little bit obnoxious. I'm just being honest.
I saw the first 3 episodes of Kenobi. I liked them. That's probably the best Star Wars thing I've seen since Rogue One.
So I'm not
a super fan, but
last week, which you haven't heard yet, but
Because this is coming out next week.
Yes, but last week I talked about on this show how there was a number of things that didn't make sense when I questioned them, and I couldn't come up with. But I came up with another
Yes.
one. And when Vader puts out the fire, and then the lady shoots it and ignites it again,
Yeah.
and then Vader like forgets he can put out the fire. He's just like, yeah,
yeah. I was like, wait a minute.
Kenobi. I can only put out 1 fire per evening.
Maybe he
that's
has
how D&D
limits
works,
on
Vader.
himself. Maybe he has personal limits. and
Vader
they just-
seemed to see
he wasn't willing to cross the
Or
line.
maybe he just has personal connection to fire now, because
he does.
it has made him partly the man he is today.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to extinguish all the fires. He wouldn't be here with
Well,
extinguished
listen,
fires.
we didn't start the fire, but
That's true.
he
Billy
start,
Joel.
but maybe he can only put out fires that he starts. He started the
It's-
fire.
the Force
He
is
put out
tricky
the
that
fire.
way.
We don't know how it bobs and
Yeah,
weaves.
there's some spatial stuff that happened in the episode that is a little bit
Yeah, I don't
Hit or
think.
miss.
I think some of the writing's a little sloppy, but I am enjoying it overall.
okay.
I saw a very funny meme. It was 2 people fighting and a third person yelling, and they had labeled them Star Wars fan, Star Wars fan, Star Wars fan.
Oh yeah. And
Yeah, I saw
the
that.
third one's like
The
sitting
third
watching,
person's
back eating
watching, yeah.
popcorn. Yeah.
I also Robert D broke my balls because we were talking about something. It may have been Star Wars, it may have been the Kenobi show, where I was like, look, I kind of have some issues with this. And he thinks my horror shelf is a joke, right? Like he thinks it's all phase life and all that shit back there. I should just get rid of it immediately and just make room for Transformers Legends. Is what he would prefer, right?
You could fit them all in right there. I mean, every
On
single
one
one that's
shelf.
ever been made.
So he was like, he always calls it phase, et cetera, and he was like, Bobby, you don't love Star Wars anymore. You don't love Marvel. I mean, what's next? Horror.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's fair. Anyway,
Phil, what else you
I
got?
saw the miniseries, the Diabolical miniseries from The Boys, because I wanted to see that before the new season started.
The Boys?
Yeah, I saw the first 2
Oh,
episodes.
the cartoon.
So I saw the first 2 episodes of the new show. I haven't watched the last one yet.
How was the cartoon?
The cartoon I liked. Each one is very different animation-wise, and some are very humorous, some are more serious. Probably the last one is the one I like most. They're all individual stories. And they
Have
don't
you watched that?
Yeah.
They're all
Did you
about
like it?
15 minutes each.
Fucking loved every
Really?
second of it.
Okay.
Yeah, they're 15 minutes each. So they're
No,
well
I'm not
worth your
talking
time.
about the cartoon.
Oh, no, that's what I'm
sorry.
talking about. That's what I'm
I
talking
have
about.
not watched that.
Okay.
The Diabolical.
Is it just like an addendum to the? I don't need to
Yeah,
watch it.
yeah,
for
you don't have to
content.
watch it before season 3.
Okay.
But
Sorry, I
but
have not
I
seen
wanted to first because I wasn't sure.
Right, I get it. But you did watch The Boys first 2
Yeah,
episodes.
the first 2 episodes. I loved it.
You watched it as well.
I watched all 3 episodes.
I watched it as well.
Oh my god,
It's fucking perfect.
Yeah.
Oh my
it's
God.
fucking perfect.
It's awesome.
fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's
It's the most amazing fucking superhero shit I've seen since Snyder Cut.
I'll tell you,
Fucking
I think it's
perfect.
it might be better than Snyder Cut, dude. If I'm being
I
honest.
like it better than Snyder Cut. but-
I don't think it's better. I think it's fair to say you can like it more. It's not as much, right? It's like
Hey, you don't have to put on your cape, buddy. It's
I'm
okay.
not. I'm just
It's
saying.
okay.
I'm just saying. It's
We'll
like
just wait his face life. He'll get over DC soon too.
that's fair.
I don't know. That one might be
That's
tattooed
fair.
on his ass. to
That's
be
fair.
honest.
But I can like Flight of Dragons more than I like Lord of the Rings. But Lord of the Rings is still Lord of the Rings.
Well, this is true.
I love seeing Homelander's slide into kind of breakdown, and I wonder how much different that is from his actual breakdown that he had.
Oh
in
yeah,
public.
yeah. I thought about that too.
Breakdown.
I thought about that too. To be fair,
And I thought it was just a curiosity thing having Huey stand next to him at the premiere and see how much taller Huey is than him, because you never see them together in any previous season.
yeah.
And that was super interesting. I didn't realize how tall
I tell you
the one guy is.
that Quaid kid, man, and we
Yeah,
put on his dress
he's
shirt. He's
awesome.
like this fucking dad, man.
yeah, he looks like his dad.
He's
a lot.
gonna be a big Hollywood actor. I
Yeah.
feel like.
I also made a note about The Boys where I was like, so let me say this. In light of the conversation, a lot of the conversations we have here, a lot of the conversations that come up in the media or whatever, I asked myself after the first 2 episodes, I was like, is this a diverse show? And then I was like, fuck, it is. There's black characters, white characters, female characters,
Brave Maeve's inclusion cave or whatever it's called.
Asian characters. Like there's something literally for everyone. and all of it seems super normal, like everyday life.
Shoehorned.
Yeah, like everyday life. When you walk into a room and there's like when you walk into a grocery store and there's people there from all walks of life just existing in the place without like going out of their way to make you know who they are and what their heritage is.
Right.
That's how this seems. It just seems like real fucking life, and real fucking life is diverse.
Yeah.
And like they deserve some credit for that shit.
Even if you look at the boys in themselves,
the main team.
yeah,
Like
that's diverse and
it's like Maeve is a gay character.
yeah. Sure, she sure is.
I don't know how they get away with this shit, Joseph. They go
It's on
to this,
Amazon.
they go to
God,
this
it's
like
wild.
faux Disney World that's owned by Vought.
Oh
right?
yeah.
Vaughtland,
yeah.
I'm sure.
And
That was
it is-
fantastic.
you can buy woke walk.
Yeah, it is.
You can
It's
buy
crazy.
BLM BLTs.
Yeah, that scene. I was like looking at all the signs in the
You
background.
can
It's
buy
amazing.
LGB turkey legs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how. Like they're just giving the Chappelle treatment. They're just saying fuck you.
Yeah.
You know.
I also love the fact that remember all the lead-in clips with the news guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was actually in the show interviewing Homelander on his right-wing show. I thought that was pretty cool that he actually got incorporated.
That Homelander character is my buddy Shane. If Shane had superpowers,
oh my god.
he would be an asshole to that level. You know. What else?
I saw the horror movie Men, which is by Alex Garland.
It's supposed to be good.
Many
It
men.
is really good.
A horror movie named Men is wild as fuck.
So Alex Garland's the guy.
Nobody
He's
knows
not.
who it is.
He's not the key grip, but you would know him from Ex Machina. He's the guy who did that. Ex Machina.
Okay.
And he did Annihilation.
Oh.
Oh,
Natalie
okay.
Portman.
I enjoyed both of those
Yeah.
films.
I didn't.
Annihilation had Natalie Portman. They went into the woods with a military team.
Yeah.
With
And-
Poe Dameron.
Yeah. Oscar Isaac was in
I feel
both
like
of
I
those
saw
movies.
that.
Oscar
Yeah,
Isaac was
Yeah,
also
it's
I
kind of
remember
an
you
alternate dimension they end up in.
at
They're
the
in this
end.
like little
Yeah,
fucking
going
yeah,
this
I
like
thought it was
prism
all right.
thing.
I thought it was all right.
So anyway, he did both those. This is his next project. It was basically very small cast. This lady is persecuted by
Just whether or not you liked it or not.
It
Phil,
was
is what
good.
we're doing.
It was good.
And why?
It was creative. It ends up being kind of a metaphor, not a straight horror film.
Okay.
So, but it was very creative.
A different spin on an old classic, you might say.
I don't know if you would like it, but you should see it
Okay.
because it's. I'd be curious what
Sounds
you
like a
think.
solid recommend, Christopher.
Joe should definitely see it. I don't know if Chris would
I
like
will.
it. I don't know if Bobby would
At
like
some
it.
point.
Yeah.
And you should see it too,
Okay.
Chucky.
Did you watch the Cronenberg? Has it come out yet?
Oh.
I don't think that's out yet.
I want to see that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's new Cronenberg
Yeah.
Ah.
That's true.
with fucking Aragorn.
Oh, Aragorn, son of Aragorn, friend from Aragorn, daughter of Sharacorn. I tried to read that book one time. It fucking drove me nuts. That was like 2 pages of following this fucking dude's lineage, like he's fucking King David or somebody.
I mean, he's King Aragorn.
Yeah.
Well,
I guess.
Oh, and I saw, of course, Maverick, just like Chris did.
Oh,
Top Gun.
and
I loved it.
out of 10.
It's a 9 out of 10 for me.
Oh.
How?
Look, Chris.
Philip,
I
you
heard,
watch a lot of films.
I heard your review of it, and you are in disagreement with most people who have seen it.
Okay, well, you know what? We could have that. We'll have this conversation another time. I
You
listen,
can
listen,
like something
it
a lot
was
without
super
saying
fun
it's good.
romp. It was edge of your seat exciting, but there was some bullshit fucking storytelling in there. And don't tell me
There was
I'm wrong.
bullshit fucking storytelling in the first one.
That doesn't make the
But
first
this
one better.
wasn't good either.
Yeah.
The first one
But
wasn't good
this
either.
one, as a Hollywood project, was very well done.
I got invited to see it this Friday.
I mean, it's shot great,
Yeah.
but
But still-
the dogfights are the
It's-
airplane stuff is awesome. I like airplane
I got
stuff.
invited to a wings and beer breakfast
Oh.
and then
right.
Top Gun lunch.
Okay.
And I said, I'll be there for wings only.
Same.
I don't drink for breakfast because it'll ruin my day because I don't stop once I've started.
There's no good point the way to stop drinking after you start.
Yeah, dude.
You just drink it into bed, right? So
Yeah.
you got to take an afternoon nap. It's the
Yeah.
only way to go.
Yeah.
Who drinks and then stops drinking?
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, some people don't. They just built for that.
Right. I'm saying you
Yeah.
can't drink in the morning and not just fucking keep going.
I know that 2:00 is that's my ultimate start point. Like that's like if I got to train for that shit. Like, okay, here comes Skullfest. We got to be ready for 2. You know, but 4 is my weekend spot. 5 is my weekday spot. You know, sometimes Friday's flexible. Friday's by.
Flex Friday.
It goes either way when it comes to mine. Did you see the Burger King gay burgers in Austria?
No.
Austria?
So
Is it
here's-
homosexual
this might be-
burger?
With only gay cows?
So let me say this: I think that Pride Month, when it comes to corporations, is fucking bullshit.
Yeah, it
and
is.
it's,
Oh,
fucking,
yeah,
it's
for sure.
annoying,
Well,
and it's fucking it's irritating, and I think it does worse than it does for.
Yep.
Yeah. There's so many memes about that.
But let me say this, and I know what I just said. But let me also just say, I'm very curious.
So what is on a gay burger?
I'm very curious about the gay burgers.
Well,
so
okay.
it's bottom bun and bottom bun, or top bun and top bun.
Nice.
I guess you have to just.
Top and top.
So you're going top and top,
Top and top.
top and top.
I think bottom and bottom.
I'm going bottom and bottom.
Well, there's
It's-
three
it's
of
a
us
little
and two of
dense.
y'all. I guess.
It's a little denser.
All the fun stuff is on
What-
top,
what kind
bro.
of- what-
That's
kind of-
true.
what kind of
Except
bread
for
is
that
it?
little white circle at the bottom. You know,
So
What kind of bread is it? Is it like a potato bun? Or?
it's
the
their shit. It's
regular
Burger King bun.
bun.
Okay.
It's just like you can get double top, but it's only in Austria, I believe.
I wonder if I wonder what the
Good night,
numbers will
mate.
say.
Time for that's Australia.
You can probably fucking ask for it here. I'm sure you can go to Burger King and fucking bother the minimum wage worker to be like, can you put 2 top buns on this bitch?
I
I'm
want
sure
2
they'll do it.
Whoppers and do it this way.
I have a special. My mom orders it. A special order.
Yes. Cheeseburger, no cheese.
2 bottoms.
Phil, what else?
So the only problem I had with Top Gun was the ending. Is it-
But it's 9 out of 10.
That was where they went too rap with the Hollywood.
9 out of 10 is
Yeah.
say less.
The only other
You
thing
got it.
I really got was I saw the first episode of The New Kids in the Hall.
How was that?
And the intro. I loved it, but
Yeah,
I
it was-
remember the show from when I was a kid.
Yeah, me
so.
too.
So they redo the entire intro. If you remember the guitar intro,
Well,
They
I
redo
would
it.
expect that.
Yeah, and it's basically reshot with grainy footage, just like that.
Good skits.
Yeah, the first skit that I saw was great. The guys are like fully nude. It's
But
hilarious.
the second skit. Oh, dude, HBO loves dicks.
No, it's on Amazon. It's on Amazon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Amazon.
Also, Amazon loves dicks.
Yeah.
Shout out to season 3, episode 1.
Dude,
First 5 minutes.
Dude,
Yeah.
spoilers.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. 5,
it's-
4, 3, 2, 1 for the listeners.
Oh,
Dude, there's this gay couple, right? And the one is a superhero. His name is Termite.
He's like Ant-Man. Yeah.
Right. And like his partner is like, I want you inside of me. And Termite shrinks into like little Termite and jumps into dude's dick hole.
It's like walking
It
around like
starts
touching.
running down like his urethra, I guess. And it's just like,
The guy's like, oh,
And then
oh yeah,
he sneezes and
Yeah, it
becomes
goes to
big.
full life.
yeah. It kills his lover.
But spoilers. Jesus Christ. I just wanted to share the fun
That's all
bit.
over
Let Joe
that's
get
on
alive,
YouTube.
man.
And then, yeah.
all right, that's basically all I got. So,
Okay. Chris, you got your coffee first. Joe, how about you?
I watched Moon Knight.
Well,
yeah.
B plus.
B plus. That's a pretty solid score.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could have been an A.
Did you watch it in one
So
sitting?
what prevented the A?
Giant alligator monsters fighting?
Oh, but you didn't like the kaiju.
So you didn't like the kaiju bit?
Doesn't need to be.
Okay.
I didn't.
I
I,
agree.
didn't. I like the characters. I like the gods. I like them fighting. It just didn't need to. It was distracting.
Yeah, I
Nothing
think
else.
that's fair.
Did you like the disassociative nature?
Fireworks.
Yes.
Did you like the disassociative nature of the storytelling
Oh, yeah,
that
love
made
it.
you
Love all of
think,
it.
question yourself even? Yeah, I thought that was my favorite
All
part of it.
Oscar
Yeah, that
Isaacs.
was the best aspect of that show.
Amazing. Fucking.
How
the
is
cast,
it watching?
the Egyptian superhero bit with the actual Egyptian lady? All good.
How is it watching a show having heard?
Dude, I was about to ask that same question.
having heard like the
Do you remember what we've said weeks
yeah.
ago about it?
nothing
Anything?
pops up as you're
Nothing
watching
but,
it. Like,
this is
I
that.
remember they were talking about that. I remember they were talking about that. Huh.
Not at all.
I feel like I'm not listened to on this podcast.
I'm very. I'm
Yeah,
very.
I'm
like,
not listening
dude,
to about the dog conversation. I'm not listening to on this
My
podcast.
brain is very good at shutting out anything spoilery.
Good, but I mean, not
I
even spoilery,
dissociate.
just like concepts when we were like, we don't really know what's going on or whatever. Were you ever a part where you said you were confused as well? Was there a part where you were confused and you're like, oh, they said that they were confused as well? Does that ever like circulate? Or-
I block out everything when I'm watching something that I'm into anyway. If I'm picking something apart, then I would. But if I'm like, what you got?
Engaged.
Did you have?
If I'm immersed, then I my mind blanks out everything else,
We got a lot of
and it's got to be good for me to do that.
we got a lot of initial feedback because the 354 hasn't even published yet.
This is 356.
It's 355.
5, okay.
But
It's 687.
but on Patreon it has published, and we got a lot of feedback on people talking about the video game conversation that we had.
Okay, cool.
About like what toys would you want?
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
what,
yeah.
like you know, like well, this for what it's worth.
Did you have prior knowledge of Moon Knight at all? Or
Yeah,
from the comic
I
stuff?
enjoy
Okay.
Moon Knight.
Yeah,
I
okay.
mean, back when I read comic books, I liked
Yeah.
Moon Knight. I preferred Moon Knight to Batman.
Oh.
Anything else?
Like I looked directly at you when I said that.
It's okay.
You know how I feel?
I don't take look, for the shit that you watch, Joe. I don't take offense to anything that you have to say about me.
I don't give them 9 out of 10s though.
Yeah. I'm just like, yep, good. Sounds perfect. Do you the most respectable viewpoint that you have is your love for casino. Do you have anything else that you?
Nothing for this show.
Nothing. Wow.
I mean, just for nerd. When did we record? Like 4 days ago, and it was 3 days.
Yeah, but it'll be 2 weeks. So
yeah, for people wouldn't know.
well, yeah,
But yeah,
Because we're doing okay.
I went to a couple places in town, but
Wait, where in town? Where'd you go?
Wonder Books and Taco Bar.
Oh, Wonder Books
Wonder
is cool.
Books on 40.
Yeah, that's a cool place.
It smells like an old church.
is this the one by Toys R Us, the old Toys R Us?
Yeah.
Yep.
If I
that's
was
a pretty cool
like
store.
in my 20s and I found that store, I could live there for weeks and just look through everything.
Yeah.
I have an
It is
inherent
pretty cool.
love of books, and like that smell and just being there, I had to like pull myself away. I couldn't. Like back in the day, I would have like flipped through every fucking book. I saw some gems there, and I wanted to go look, but I didn't.
They have a massive.
I was just there
DVD
as a
and Blu-ray
tourist
collection as well.
I was looking for a specific book. I'm looking for 2003 hardcover print of Dark Tower, Wizard and Glass. I found out this fucking week when I was putting my books up. I'm actually missing. I have 4 fucking copies of that books, none of which is the hardcover series that I was collecting. I don't know why. And they go for a lot. That set goes for like $800, and but I only need the one book, which is still going for like $120, $130.
God bless.
Wow.
But like I might
Super popular.
Whatever, it's fucking $100.
Yeah, but like that spot. Is it weird at all that old churches and old porn stores smell similar?
I mean, yes, it has the same materials,
Bro.
That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah,
right?
it's baby wipes and books.
It's just old pages slowly deteriorating.
I wanted
Stuck
to like.
together and
And there's some really old books behind the glass cabinets, bro. Who knows what demon lurks in there, man?
I know.
And they have DVDs.
It is
for you. You can go look for DVDs.
Yes. No.
I've been
like
there looking for DVDs.
I
I'm looking
like
for Blu-rays there.
I like that place. I just feel like everyone that works there is constantly wanting me to follow their Tumblr.
Yes, that's true.
I couldn't tell who actually works there or cares. I mean, like that place would be great if someone actually fucking tried to pretend to organize the goddamn thing, because it's not at all. It's just
that's
a
part of the
fucking-
charm, though,
It's
right?
just a fucking pile of books.
Do they still have the bins outside with like records?
Yes,
and,
I don't know how to put that shit on the inside, or they just leave it out with a tarp at night.
I'm sure
It's
they
so
got
much
it.
shit
They've
out
got
there.
it related.
It is.
No, it's fun to not be organized unless I was specifically looking for something, and there's no fucking way to find
I
it.
agree.
Yeah.
You would think they'd have some sort of database for that shit because they'd had to log it in, but even then
I
they don't
don't
know where
think
to
so.
find-
I think
Yeah,
they just
hear
drop
you.
off books
I
and they
hear-
throw on the shelf new arrivals.
Like, it reminds me of Second Charles, but Second Charles is more organized.
They would just
Yeah.
be like, let me see here.
Definitely more
no
of that.
sign of it. Have you checked our new arrivals?
How do
It's
you?
the
How
whole
do,
left
I don't know how to make money.
It's
I
like
think
one
all
wall
their
of the
stuff is
building.
donated. Probably people just drop off
for
books.
sure.
Oh, yeah.
Right,
sure.
because physical media. Who cares about physical media is nowadays? But like, they still have to like pay rent and employees? Question mark.
Yeah.
Or
Some kind
people
of
just walk in
overhead.
there and starts running the register. I feel like.
My dad reads probably 3 or 4 paperback novels a week.
Holy shit.
I used
He's
to in
retired,
high school.
right?
Yeah, even when he wasn't.
Oh, really?
I mean, he
Uh-huh.
just constantly reads. And he just,
That's good.
and he goes to, I don't know if it's still there or not. He went to a used bookstore and would find a series he wanted to read and would buy all of them. You know, if they're $1 a quarter or something, I don't fucking read them. And when he gets done, he takes them, sells them packing.
Yeah.
Gets some more books. So people take advantage of that.
One more thing of note for me personally: Street Fighter 6 is dropping the trailer.
Yeah.
Did you watch the trailer?
Yeah, and they showed a character roster, which is great. You know, I love Street Fighter, but that's not the point. The point is, well, 2 points. One is they have some new characters that doesn't have the old characters. I'm sure they'll come out anyway, but they don't have Fei Long, but they have this other Hong Kong character. But the thing is, it's a Hong Kong character. And it fucking makes me feel good. You know how they all have a country and the flag?
Yeah. Yep.
It wasn't fucking China. It was Hong Kong with a Hong Kong
that is
flag.
good.
And
That's
I'm like,
nice to know.
that's
Yeah.
in
nice.
2022, thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's about
I was like unreasonably hyped about.
Do you remember
that.
the name?
Of the character?
Yeah.
It's not Fei Long though, because Fei
What's
Long
the
was a Hong Kong
design-
character.
is the
Fei Long was
design-
based after Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee, yeah.
This is more. I don't know what he's based. He's more modern Asian urban type character.
Yeah.
What did you think of the modernization of the effects and moves?
I love all of them.
Okay,
It's
because
always-
this reminds me a lot more of the modern Tekken game.
kind of.
Because I'm not really a Capcom guy, but I would like to try this game at some point just to see it, because it reminds me more of like the modern Tekken stuff.
Yeah, no. I prefer. I maybe because I prefer Street Fighter shit.
Yeah.
Or anything else.
Me too.
Oh, I know.
you guys
I remember
Mortal Kombat.
facing you in my first trip to Skullfest here, and you wiped the floor with me because I
with
never
everyone, I
played.
got bored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Street Fighter actually passes along.
Street Fighter's my number 2 fighting game.
Yeah.
You know, it just didn't have the grit for a young Bobby. Round fight. It was like, I don't know that dude. I've never met a dude that speaks that way. Where else? Did you go anywhere else to one of these other places?
Taco Bar.
Oh, how was that?
Okay.
I
How
love
was it?
Taco Bar.
You've been before. Did you?
No. I used to go. I go to Cafe Bueno. There's a lot of good, like, good,
That's on East
Spanish
Street
food,
or whatever.
Cafe
Yeah.
Bueno is good, like authentic restaurant. There is the place next to the card store. I go to Tournament City Games, where I always talk about is Tex-Mex is great, but this place is great for like hole in the wall just tacos.
That's the best
And also
stuff,
across
man.
the street now, there's another card store I didn't realize, but this one is straight Magic, no Pokemon stuff. Black Sun. Black Sun
Oh
Games.
man, shout out to the spell table.
Hell
They bring it back.
Dude,
Full of
So that
physics.
Taco Bar place is
Hey,
good. huh?
fucking
All right.
Baldur's Gate just dropped. It's the new set, which I need to
Boulder
go.
Dash?
That's a fun
not
game.
Dragon
Boulder
Breath.
Dash is fun.
Cumberbatch?
I'm still waiting
Boulder
for
Mountain.
Dominaria to fucking come out. Then I'll start driving money again.
Dominaria.
Drop it like it's hot.
I feel like I already know the vibes.
You hear me talking about all kinds of
Dominaria
magic.
sounds like a cosplayer name.
Christopher.
Oh, me. Hi. The Boys. Season 3.
It's fantastic.
You lost some weight on
It's
your
fucking
face.
fantastic.
Like,
It is.
We're not going to talk about that.
Look,
Phil.
at 3 seasons in, I'm comfortable saying it is the best superhero television ever made.
No, there's no doubt. There's no doubt about that.
Ever made.
Chucky, are you watching this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Are
It's
you familiar
fucking
with
perfect.
the book, Chucky?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
See, I've not read the books, and at this point, I'm like, I don't
you
need to read
you
the
don't need
books.
to.
It's better than Lois and
They're
Clark,
fun.
though.
Yeah, dude, it weasels by Smallville.
Oh, man.
Weasels.
It's creeping up near Arrow status.
Yeah.
Before season 3, when he was on the island with all the Deathstroke.
How's it compared to the season 2 that you never finished watching of Teen Titans or
I
whatever?
can't comment on that, can I, Joe?
What about Doom Patrol?
Doom Patrol.
So, I mean, first season of Doom Patrol, I would put on the level of this.
Really?
But,
Okay,
I
I
mean,
still
it's
gotta watch
similar.
that,
It's
man.
similar. It's like,
Couldn't get it
you know, it's like
Okay.
fuck it all vibes, you know?
Okay.
So The Boys. It's great.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
The website's open. I don't know if it'll still be open in the
Crash
future. We're doing a 2-week window because we got a very busy summer. So, we don't want to tie ourselves up with a whole bunch of stuff, but wanted to offer the stuff one more time this summer.
We're very giving.
We are. So this Sunday was a WWE. They don't call them pay-per-views anymore because you don't really do that. You just get them off Peacock. They call it a premium live event.
Was this Hell in the Cell?
It was a Hell in the Cell. Cody Rhodes, who was in AEW, who started AEW, who left and came back to WWE, wrestled. And they said he was injured before the show, but he was still going to wrestle. But nobody knew that he had torn his pectoral
Oh, no.
What? Holy shit!
and had, I will say,
That looks like that. That looks like that Russian leader's face.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
he's talking about Gorbachev.
Oh, it's not. It's a forehead. It's not a face.
That's what it looks like.
Dude, he
So,
looks like he
I
has
thought
like a
you were just
massive
talking about his
internal
nipples,
bleed.
but now I see the resemblance.
Yeah, so I don't see it somewhere. You know, his dad, Dusty Rhodes, had like a birthmark on his stomach. He said, and somebody posted their picture together, and it said, "Here's Cody again trying to outdo his dad." So I will say he wrestled basically with one arm that match, and it's probably the best match I've seen from WWE in 5 or 10 years.
And you wonder why their bodies fall apart by 50 and they're hooked on pain pills.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't know. It's because of dumb shit like this.
I will say, Joe, that in the past that has been the God's honest truth. But this generation of talent, they're not wrestling nearly as much.
Look at this guy.
They're in a lot better shape. Yeah, but you know what? That was the first. He didn't hurt that in the ring. He hurt it training.
I know, but he's not recovered.
Right, and
He's
there's a lot of shade thrown on that right now because why the fuck did a doctor clear him to wrestle? It's because
It's also a bad role model. It's a bad example for people to like.
That is a good point. But they said that he couldn't hurt it anymore. But my thought is, but he could probably hurt his shoulder trying to overcompensate for that or
He
something.
can definitely hurt. He can get a full pec tear where he rolls up like a fucking blinds and the tongue was a wolf in the cartoon.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen that? A full pec tear or a full bicep tear when it just.
I saw a video of a guy
It's
benching and
crazy.
it popped and
Yeah.
it went like bloop.
Yep.
Same thing. How you
That can
hide the
happen.
Facebook shit.
The what?
The Facebook shit. How you hide that from yourself.
Yes.
I hide that type of shit from myself.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that match was fucking just as incredible. I just wanted to mention that and show you guys that crazy injury. On the next night, he was on Monday Night Raw, and he got hit with a sledgehammer. So,
oh my god,
yeah. So he's out for a while. I spent some money on video games this week.
Lucky.
I've had some internal struggles about whether I wanted to commit the time to the WWE 2K22 game, and it's been a horrible mistake because I've sucked into the create a character, and
any game that's create a character, you will spend more time creating the character than seeing them.
I make her so
the
thick.
game.
It's like Slider, all the way to the right,
just so I can watch that thing jiggle as we walk down the street.
I made the most white trash guy. He's got a bleach blonde mullet with roots showing, and
that's awesome.
And he's chubby, and he has never shaved an inch of his body.
Oh,
and he's got a Figaro necklace with with a ring on it.
Dude, you just described half the people in Cecil County.
Well, I just described every pro wrestler around.
I can listen and Dundalk, and Glen Burnie, and Pasadena, and
Essex,
right? All the entire area.
So,
and Elk Ridge, and Sat. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I can name a bunch of places in Alabama. Too. Lick Skillet, for example.
Lick Skillet.
That's not real.
Butternegg Road. Don't make me take you there, Bob.
Did you say what I think you said?
What'd you say?
Butternegg Road in Lick Skillet, Alabama.
Butterneck Road.
Butter and egg.
Butter and egg. Road.
Butter.
I suggest you slow that one down.
Yeah. You know that you passed this. What?
If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. So I spent money on another video game. The G.I. Joe game was on clearance for $12 on the PlayStation Store.
This is a recent game?
Yeah.
How do you have a fucking clearance on a non-physical item?
Huh?
PlayStation Store does that.
Well, because it was out of megabytes.
Because it was $50 and now it was $12.
I know, but a clearance means like you're clearing out stock
Sure.
and you
It's a sale. Let's just call it a sale. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said it.
Running out of megabytes.
Maybe they only had so many digital copies of
That's the NFTs. You can only have certain amounts.
That's what it is. So I had heard this video game wasn't very good, and I can confirm that it's fucking trash. It is awful. Like,
thanks for saying that $12 and let us
well,
know.
And one thing I will pull from that is I guess I knew this for sure, but the reason those first couple waves of G.I. Joes were so fucked up is because they literally pulled the models out of those games.
Okay.
That's I guess they thought that game was going to be a bigger deal than it was, and that's why but it's trash.
Is it a shooter or like a third person?
I don't know what it is. Okay. It's awful. The mechanics are trash. It's not really like the cutscenes are like comic book animation that kind of moves around a little bit. It's
That's not good.
It's like a half-ass game to begin with.
It is a half-ass game, yeah. Okay. So I got my $12 out of it today in about 2 hours. So I'm good with that.
That's fair.
I don't know if I said we've been working on some new designs outside of the realm of what we have been making, a couple different things, maybe some more like urban stuff. Have some cool ideas, and we're working on some prototypes for that. The last thing, I ran into one of my old wrestling promoters from Alabama.
Here?
No, on the internet.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. As you all may know,
communications disruption can mean only one thing, Joe. Invasion.
So, as you may know, I'm in a lot of Facebook groups. I don't know if Chuckie knows. I'm in a lot of Facebook.
Okay.
He's like trying to be a Jedi.
Sometimes I get. Well, I joined the Galactic Federation of Light for you guys, and we need to have a conversation.
He's a Jedi and a Sith at the same time.
So I'll give it a little background. This is the guy who was the promoter of the show that I broke in on. He is probably about Joe's height and honestly a pretty similar build, but is just a complete douchebag. He definitely had Napoleon syndrome. He would like suplex me and think. I mean, I didn't know any better. I just started. He shouldn't ever fucking suplex me from a logical standpoint. We ended up tag teaming over the years, and then when I ran my show, I kind of felt I felt obligated to ask him to come. Well, there was basically a screw job finish on a title match.
This whole story, bro.
Asked him to come.
This is a stacked conversation.
Basically, he went into business for himself and won the fucking championship he wasn't supposed to win. So I'm in an AEW group just talking mad shit. They have a ranking system, which doesn't really fucking matter for anything because it's all made up pretend fighting.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So someone's like, what's this ranking system? And I this is what I said. I said, you see, the ratings are based upon an arbitrary measurement system that has classified every performer in 12 crucial categories. The algorithm creates lists on a weekly basis based upon the 12 categories, many of which the layperson couldn't comprehend. Also, don't put logic in an illogical situation. So Dave M, I'll say, pops up, and he commented on my post on what I said. Basically, he's talking about the promoter has so many problems he can't count them. One problem is he's bad with math. Too many high-paid, underused.
That's why I can't count them.
Underused stars and low-paid megastars in the making. And I replied, just hope, Dave M, just hope those dudes don't go into business for themselves and ruin the booking. And then he commented, he doesn't get it. He commented back that he had
So you knew exactly who he was right off the bat. Yeah.
And then he says something kind of similar again, and I said exactly, nothing worse than some older guys taking spots from young up-and-comers. That's my little Facebook dig for the week, and I think that's about it.
So I don't have a whole lot to report out to the boys, so to speak, and Boar Bash, which was great. Shout out to the Boars for hosting that.
Oh, yeah.
Boats and hoes.
Boats and hoes.
Yep.
Could have used some more hose, but there was a boat there. So two things I watched. I watched some stuff on Lad this week. Are you familiar with Lad on Lad Bible or any of that? On
I know of it. I'm not.
I watched two of those shows just as fate would have it. One was this guy.
Is this a YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
This journalist who survived like 3 to 4 months in a Taliban prison camp, and like what he pretty much owes it to is they were keeping him captive in some Afghani's house, right? They come in, they're roughing him up, they're talking a whole bunch of shit, they're calling him a piece of shit, Westerner, the whole bit. They got their own hashtags, they're running them all off, right? And he's like, I'm sorry, and they're like, we're making a video to get ransom, we need the names of your children. And he's like, for whatever reason, he's British, so it sounds better than I'm saying it, but he's like, I couldn't give them it. Like, I knew their names, but it was something so innocent. I just couldn't bring their names into this situation. Like, I wasn't being brave. It's like I couldn't say the names. And, they put a gun to his head. They're like, we're going to fucking kill you if you don't give the names. And he's like, I couldn't. Well, a lot of these journalists, they have these people called fixers. Mm-hmm. They're the liaisons, right? So then they put the gun to the liaison's head, and they're like, we're gonna blow his fucking brains out if you don't say it. He's like, cool, fine. Look, I forget the first name, Joe, and the second name was Gabriel. Now, remember they had rattled off all these hashtags before. Gabriel, for those that are up to date in Islamic faith, is the angel that brought down the holy word to Muhammad. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So they're like, huh. Well, that's a pretty important name culturally. And he said it was actually kind of embarrassing for them because they had just told this homeowner that this guy had no knowledge of the Quran, that no knowledge of their ways, and just sort of circumstantially, he had a son named Gabriel. So then the homeowner started to take a liking to him and basically kind of protected him. And then they went to trial, like on Taliban court, which I can only imagine. I don't if it's kangaroo court, I would imagine this motherfucker jumps way higher. Yeah. And he was free. They acquitted him of all charges. Wow. And they went to drop him off at the checkpoint, and they were like, but you're a fixer, just as a heads up, that motherfucker guilty as hell. Oh. And he was like, well, look, he said like his body was shaking. He knew what he was saying wasn't the right thing to say, but he couldn't help but say, he was like, look, I don't want to be free if he doesn't go free. Keep me in the car.
Wow.
And they let the fixer go. Wow.
Holy shit. Wow.
But it's a pretty fascinating story. If you get a chance on YouTube, check it out. Wow. So it was so good, I watched the second one. And it was on this British gangster. This like old school, this dude looks like Elmer Fudd on a keto diet. At 80.
Oh, God. I can picture that person exactly.
Does it look like that meme with the guy who can like pull his bottom lip over his nose?
But with more teeth. So he's sitting there, and like it's a great story that he tells. And like I recommend that people watch this as well. But they were talking about like, does he have any regrets as like a gangster, right? And it's interesting because he kind of thinks of his whole criminal career as being fairly pragmatic. It's like, look, I didn't have this, and this was afforded to me as a possibility. I took the chance, right? I took the chance. I made it, case closed. You know, he went to jail, did his crime, did his time, got out. Like, he's like, look, it is what it is. Like, you know, like, but he was saying how he's like, there's one that got me. So there's 3 rules to this, in my mind anyway. One rule, you don't kill what do you call them? In America, we call them civilians. But for the straight goers, or the ghost straighters, you don't kill the ghost straighters. Just bring someone to detention. They're not into this. Just let them go about their business. No harm, no foul. Second rule, you don't kill any journalists. Oh, well, they're just going to write about it for the next 10 years. You never fucking hear the end of it. Third rule, you don't kill, he says some shit to this old man Bill or some shit like that, which means like the cops, but it was funny as shit. You know, he's like, they'll never let up. They'll be on you forever. You know, but he goes on, and he's like, so I had a civilian, and I was just supposed to scam up a bit, rough him up a taste, and get the ball rolling on the other end. I restrained him, and he put a handkerchief in his mouth and tied it up. Well, the guy goes and vomits. I had no idea. Chokes on his own vomit. Dies right there. I still feel bad about it to this day. Every day I go into a church, I light a candle for one for my mom, my dad, and then this old guy. It was like horrifying, you know, and terrifying, and also like hysterical in a really fucked up way. But it's worth a watch. I do suggest it. So I have one question for you to continue with our bathroom talk. All right.
Oh, I have one more thing I need to add.
Speaking of bathrooms,
no, it's not. It's you reminded me talking about YouTube. Soft white underbelly. That guy. He went back to the Whitakers in West Virginia. This was like, I think it was about a month within the last month. So they like one of the one they ran into at Walmart that's somehow related, a cousin brother. He's got a $10,000 building next door, but he ran out of money, so it's not finished on the inside. Have you seen this?
Yeah,
and they bought a truck.
They got some siding up.
Yeah,
and
and then the one
dude just pisses and
the one that doesn't talk. Ray, that's Ray. So he kind of barks.
Oh my god!
So the guy who was sitting on the steps
he's what I like to call a cocker manual.
Yeah. God damn it. So if you haven't, just look this up. It's soft white underbelly, the Whitakers, and you'll see what this is. There's the Whitakers that he knows the game and he's playing it. He's sitting on the steps. He's the most articulate of any of them. He's got a full head of white hair and glasses. Because he's very like didn't have enough money.
Yeah, he's like, if only there was a GoFundMe.com/Whitakers.
He doesn't quite come out and send money here, but he's very manipulative in the way he talks, and I'm like. Okay.
And that dude, the dude who runs Soft White Underbelly, I mean, he's a businessman. He's making his buck. But he does set up a fair amount of shit for a lot of these folks, including them.
Yeah, he's got. I mean, he changed their life. You know.
Yeah, for sure. So you ready for my last bat? And hopefully we can sum this up in 8 minutes. We'll be right on schedule, Joe. Like it was just a regular nerd week.
Boom.
All right. When it comes to going, number one, are you over the fence? Or through the woods? Meaning, do you go over top of your pants / underwear? Or do you bring the dick out through the dick hole and then through the zipper hole? Or do you split the different?
I mean, if I'm not sitting down.
Oh, I guess that doesn't apply to you.
Yeah.
No, I thought you sit down. You sit down 100% of the time?
No, not at work.
Okay, at work.
Because I have whatchamacallit?
Slacks?
Yeah.
In a public bathroom?
I've never been out snake through the hole. That zipper's always fucking scared the shit out of me. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
You're over the fence.
What? No, through the zipper, the way it's supposed to be used.
You bring it through the zipper.
Zipper and the boxer hole.
And the dick hole.
Wow.
You're still using the dick hole.
Yeah, that's what it's there for.
Oh, I know that's what it's there for.
If I'm wearing shorts like this, I just pull my dick out underneath.
But in a normal set of circumstances.
That shorts is normal for me.
Yeah, but
it'll work.
Don't be difficult.
Like if I'm in a mall and wearing my shorts, I'm pulling my dick out.
Yeah, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about if there is a zipper and if there is a
then I go through the dick hole and the zipper.
You're through the wood. That's right.
I unzip and unbutton.
You're over the fence.
Split.
No, if you unzip and you unbutton, so you unzip and you unbutton your outer pants, and you bring your dick through the dick hole of your underwear.
No.
Then you're over the fence. Then you're over the fence.
Over the fence. Then.
Yeah. Okay.
You're overthinking it, Phil.
Yeah, I was overthinking it.
I mean, I'm through the woods too, but I'm just thinking about the other times when I'm like, pooping completely naked.
Yeah, that's most of the time.
I've caught you on that.
I know.
Oh boy.
Chuckie O is very smart, but he does not know how door locks work. And he shits naked.
Yeah, sometimes.
If you're just right now, if you go to the bathroom, you're unzipping your pants, you're putting your fingers into the zipper hole, fighting with the dick hole in your boxers, bringing your dick out of both holes, and then taking a piss.
So here's the thing, like. I work with firearms a lot, so like I've got a firearm mounted to my belt, and there is no
but
like
let's say
loosening
it's
that
just
belt.
Tuesday. Let's say and you're not armed to the teeth.
Yeah.
Some people
Same way though. Like
I used to do the same thing, right?
Yeah. I don't drop the pants.
No, I don't drop them.
I've seen that though.
I do some of you listener motherfucker out there dropping your whole fucking shit around the ankles.
They're mentally ridiculous.
That's true.
Pretty much
and then they don't hold the dick. They pull the shirt up.
Cinemark at Arundel. Cinemark at Arundel. That's what I'll
So Bobby, what's your vibe?
I'm over the over. Yeah.
Okay.
See, you can't. Well, I don't do that because if you do that, there might just be a slight fucking obstruction to the fucking flow.
Yeah.
At the very end, you think you're done.
I think there's more flow going through the dick hole part.
No, it's open.
Nah, it's not. Look, you got to go over. You make a right, bang a left to get out of there.
You stick your fingers in it, you open the fucking hole up, bro.
I'm just
you
gonna
get the whole fucking thing out.
No, I got to have one hand on my joint.
Like the way my dick fits through that size hole. I'm not making any judgments about anybody else.
Bro, you telling me if you put your dick over it, it's the waistband is not covered.
I hold with my thumb the waistband down.
Yeah.
So it doesn't put any pressure. And then my other hand on the joint.
Yeah.
That's too much work.
No, that's what I do.
It's a 1-2 step, bro.
That's a 1-2 step.
Chuckie was trying it.
That's too much. All you gotta do is unzip and fucking grab your dick through the hole and pull it out.
I can't wait to hear the questions about this for the next 12 weeks. Like still talking about poop.
Even if you have your fucking waistband like underneath your ball and your taint, it might obstruct flow just enough to when you think you're done and you put your dick back, fucking a small stream comes out and you fucking just piss your pants.
No, I don't have a stream because I don't hold any pressure on it. But I do feel like you can shake it, you can bake it, you can beat it against a wall, but when you put it in your pants, the last drop gonna fall.
That's last drop, but not the last stream.
No.
The last
spurt. I agree with you.
Pretty much.
All right, so
hang on.
Okay.
Do you stand up when you wipe your ass, or do you sit on your ass and wipe your ass?
Are you a leaner or a stander?
Are you a leaner or a cleaner?
So
no, that's not how it goes. Those aren't the options. Those aren't the options.
I enjoy a bidet.
Okay.
If you don't have the bidet,
I enjoy a shower.
You shower at work?
Yep. Oh yeah.
What if you had to shower? What if you had to shit at Exxon?
You don't fucking shit at Exxon, Bobby.
Never.
So
I'm trying to get an answer out of this.
If I don't have a shower and I don't have a bidet, I generally try not to shit there.
What if you had to go right now?
He's clean.
Bobby?
He's the fucking hygienic.
So you wait. No, there's a bigger question here.
Yeah. Oh.
You feel it, right? Mm-hmm. You don't do a preemptive wipe before the shower. You just clean all that shit out of your ass crack in the shower.
Well, if I have a bidet, that's not a problem. If otherwise, it's kind of spread and like spray.
Oh, okay.
Like
You're
the
a
first wash
spread
off.
and spray?
Yeah.
In the shower?
Oh, yeah, in the
Like
shower.
a cat? Oh, you mean, I thought you meant on the toilet.
I mean,
I think we've finally been stumped on this question because I don't know I want to ask any more follow-ups on
It's
this.
okay. It's okay. It's gotten too complicated. If it was going to
Now
get
there's
too
a third
complicated with
category.
fucking anyone, it'd be fucking him.
There can be a whole fucking book on this, apparently.
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, let's move on. We're going to have an aliens conversation. Chuckie O is a bit of an aliens
Now
expert.
let's specify. This isn't Area 51.
No.
Correct.
No, this is
Xenomorphs.
Ripley, Xenomorphs, face huggers, 20th Century Fox, now Disney.
Middle
This-
Heavens. Yeah.
This is and more obscure.
Lost me already.
All right.
Wayland Yutani.
So what I want to
there you
do
go.
is I want to first open up this discussion. My goal is to have this done in an hour, this discussion. Tops. So my first question is, when did you first become aware of the Alien franchise, right? And I'm going to give my answer first because I think it is fucking bizarre.
It's interesting.
Spaceballs.
At
the end of Spaceballs, the fucking person eats the shit at the diner. Yeah, it's the same fucking guy.
Yep.
And then the fucking the chest burster pops out.
Yeah.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling. Hello, my rise. I'm you know, and like
check please.
I thought it was fascinating.
Yeah.
But I had no idea what it was. And I remember asking my dad, like, what is that? And he was like, it's an alien. I was like, well, how do you know? He's like, no, it's from Aliens. And I was like, well, what is that? And he's like, it's you can't watch that yet.
How old were you?
I can't tell you. It was as soon as Spaceballs came out. So whatever year Spaceballs came out.
Okay.
But that was my first introduction into aliens, and it just sort of set a bar as to like, here's a mystery. Figure it out, young sir. Anybody else want to share their first experience of being, if they remember at all, being turned on to aliens?
I watched the first Alien movie very young, probably younger than I should have.
The first
Probably.
one?
Like, yeah. Well, when did it come out? 80s?
79 originally.
Oh, no, I didn't watch it when it came out. I watched it in like when I was 4 or 5 years old. And I've been into it ever since. I would definitely watch Aliens when it came out. Like, immediately.
Yeah, so I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but I saw Aliens before Alien.
I did not.
Me too.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna be honest with you. When I first heard of Aliens, I was like, "Whoa, this is fucking awesome!" But it was the same thing. You can't watch that. But I remember watching it maybe in 8th or 7th or 8th grade.
Yeah, that was about the time I saw
house. It's like, oh, this is really cool. But yeah, I didn't even realize there was a first movie because I mean, the way those were marketed in my mind, it was a sci-fi horror movie, this giant spectacle blockbuster, which it was.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then some other stuff happened after that. So,
What about you, Phil?
First time I saw the excerpt from the original film randomly on cable, flipping. I was probably like 6, flipping at my flipping stations at Dad's, and I was like, "What is this?" And it was the dinner scene.
So on the first one.
So I freaked the shit out of me, and I turned the channel. I was like, "What was it?" And then later on, I found out what it was. I was like, when I was like 11, I was like, "All right, I have to see this."
Yeah.
And it was awesome for me. And I did I did end up watching them in order at that point.
And then what about you, Chuckie?
So we didn't have cable TV or anything when I was young. So
You're so sad.
is it because your parents spent all their money on bidets?
yes,
And guns.
Yeah, bidets and guns. They never did. No, it was. I'd go to someone else's house. There was my mom had a friend and her husband, I remember, would be watching it, and I kind of walk through their living room and be like, stop and go, huh, and see bits and pieces of it.
Can I interrupt you for
times.
just 1 second?
Yeah.
Chuckie, I'm happy to have you here, but you look like you could work at Jurassic Park right now.
Well, this is the closest to like alien anything I had.
You're trying to go thematic.
I thought something.
All right.
But no, it's all bits and pieces of it. And then I think rented the VHS of Aliens, and that was the first that I saw through.
So
then I had to kind of go back.
So that's interesting,
to
right?
Alien.
That all three of us saw Aliens first.
Yeah.
And like I think it had I'll be honest, like I've obviously seen Alien, but like I don't know if I would love that franchise like conceptually the way I do had Aliens not been my introduction to it.
Yeah.
Like I think I'll probably show it to my kids with Aliens.
Yeah.
Because like it's like I never the whole bit with Ripley and where she come from and everything, like as a kid, like now I'd probably be like, and another story plot that was fit, you know what I mean? But like as a kid, it was just like I got it. I picked up like something happened. There was this traumatic experience. Like she's like, I was able to pick up on the tones and the settings, and what was the allure for me about it was the cultural components, right?
Yeah.
That were kind of established, both from the humans regarding the AI and all of that, but also the humans regarding like.
What about our shares?
That's
my favorite part of it.
Yeah.
Like
that whole dynamic.
And then
Space truckers, yeah.
and then the other bit with like, okay, so there's a queen. The queen lays eggs. The eggs spawn facehuggers. The facehuggers find hosts. The hosts born aliens.
Yeah.
And the aliens, like on and on. Like,
You're learning about like
it's
biology.
It's the world. And there's a few. I say this all the time, so forgive me, Joe. But like, there's a few of these movies out here where the sequel defines the world. Aliens is one. Terminator 2 is one.
James Cameron stuff.
Empire Strikes Back is one. Godfather 2 is one. And man.
Fast Furious 2.
Oh, get the fuck out.
Well, listen, it's all about building a world. So
Yeah. So now let's step back before we get to Alien 3. We'll kind of we'll step back and start with the first film. You have some fun facts or anything about the first film? And you watched some documentaries and stuff. Let's just talk about the first film.
Yeah, so they had a big kind of script change once Geiger got in terms of design of the creatures. It was called, the original script was called Star Beast, and there's a lot of things that are there's a lot of things that are similar. None of the characters' names or places really. Actually, there's a point in Prometheus where they take a big section of the plot from the original Dan O'Bannon script and lay it into Prometheus. So for me, it's okay,
it was a very nice nod.
Yes, but they had the classic, kitchen scene, same kind of her getting away in the ship, yada yada yada. It was big visually that changed out of that first movie, and it was really kind of one of those first sci-fi horror movies, establishing the powerful, woman.
That's true.
And
I don't
know,
a soldier, not a damsel in distress.
Yeah, I mean,
her and Leia, really.
Yeah, yeah.
The two
and it's around the same time.
Yeah,
but difference is Ripley was
blue collar.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. She was
collar,
thrust into being the hero. That's not what she was trying to do, but she just stepped up.
Yeah, she was in the second command.
Leia was kind of built to be that.
Yeah. But both, I mean, if you think about it, I agree with you 100%, but both, if you think about it, it's 77 to 79. You get these two female characters that end up lasting for fucking ever.
Yep.
I feel like a lot of people today, especially when they think of that, they're like, oh, back when women were just this. It's no, two of the strongest female characters of all time came from this era. And yes, one was bred for it and sort of groomed is the right word, I think.
Destiny kind of thing.
And then the other one kind of stepped up to the plate, but both fucking badass chicks, for the first time, really.
Yeah, one of the things that, although I tend to have preference towards Aliens, and there was a big mystery about the alien itself, but they laid the groundwork of especially with those space truckers and kind of a conflict against corporation is a theme that you'll see again and again and again.
Yeah, for sure.
Laying down human and alien and this idea of the creation.
It's giving me the chills because that is the changing of the tide toward the corporation in a sort of major way.
Yeah.
And politically, in the 80s, the Reagan era is really
just let the chains off the corporation and they'll know best. It was I think it very topical for its time in terms of those kind of big picture things. And then it's carried out in the rest of, the universe, expands on that, which is, again, it's not a, X-Men and DC and it's not the popular, IP, but it's I think it's aged somewhat well. Some of the movies are a struggle.
That's the problem, right?
Yep.
But 1 and 2, especially 2, is so strong. It just stands. I watch it
that's what's done it. And every now and then you get these blips of hope along. It could be a video game. It could be Prometheus.
The prequel.
It could be exactly. You know what I mean?
Well, not prequel. I don't even know. It sets between 1 and 2. With Lily's daughter.
Yes, you're right. Yeah.
Oh, the isolation game. Yeah.
So the
people rave
isolation
about
game and even some of the books actually run with Amanda Ripley and just start building out.
She was gone for a long time. She was frozen. It was 50 years, some shit like that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's 57 years in between the 1 and 2.
Yeah, so they really kind of flesh out her adventures, which is really nice in terms of expanding where they can in the world, in the universe, so to speak.
Do you remember your thoughts having seen Alien for the first time, afterward?
Alien?
Yeah.
I mean, I was just
I'm sure they're going to get
horrified. It was frightening.
Yeah, it was very scary.
It definitely did not make Dark Knights and Shadows comfortable as a child. As an adult, no big deal. But
it's
as
also
a
more
kid,
real. Like it is a sci-fi monster, but it's not like a B movie monster, and it's not over the top. It is grounded enough to be like, that's some weird nature shit.
Super
laying eggs
grounded.
in
I
you.
think that's a great word to describe. It's like it was, especially even once again. I feel like I'm going to keep coming back to this phrase, but for its time, just very grounded, very like, spaceships are real. All this shit is real.
Yeah.
Like space travel is real. All this shit is real.
We're just having fucking breakfast and trucking along.
Yeah, this just happened. There's a camera on board.
The fact that they kept it all blue collar,
So
it's super
I agree.
grounded.
It's like it's almost like the opposite of Star Wars in some degree.
Yeah.
and Star Trek.
gritty
The-
and
which is the two
I would
big-
say it's-
Star Trek is very clean.
it is. That, you're right.
And Star Wars
Yeah.
is more fantasy, really.
Yeah,
Like you said, like you turn me onto that idea. It's true because like you don't think about the technology of Star Wars much. You just know it's high tech and that shit works.
Yeah.
right. But in Star Trek, it
matters.
It matters.
Yeah.
Like your warp drive and shit. If that shit fails, you're done.
It's funny because after I remember, obviously I saw Alien after Aliens, but I remember being more confused after Alien than I was after Aliens.
Did you realize it was the first one? Did you
Yes, no,
realize
I knew
the
it took
order
place
of-
before, but I was like, man,
What confused you about
I was like, what's this guy in this fucking gun chair? And like, what is all this shit? Like I don't understand this. Like, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Ridley loved that idea, and he was hoping somebody would eventually touch on it. And they never did until he brought it back.
Yeah,
with
but
Prometheus.
as a kid, I was like, I wasn't upset or frustrated by it. I was just like, the mystery, like
So-
like what is this? I need to
I
know
like
what this.
the mystery
There was a
of it.
model. No, I'm saying
Yeah, there was a
me
model-
too.
there was a model
But I was
kit
saying
of-
we were confused as in like
It's not
because
in
it
a
give me two
bad.
things,
It's just
in a good way.
Yeah,
like you want more.
Yeah, I was intrigued.
Yeah.
You know, and like I remember there was a model kit.
Yes.
that you could
Of the
buy
space
at the
jockey,
of
Yeah.
that fucking
Yep.
shit, and I was like, man, what is this shit?
So the space jockey.
Yeah, that's what they
the
called
thing
it.
that was basically a mystery for
30 years?
Dark Horse, Dark Horse Comics covered it early on. They had tried to do a version of it.
So the intent there, much like a gritty, space trucker, space kind of thing, they called it the Space Jockey because the idea was it was a reference to a Robert Heinlein novel called
that's right. Yeah.
Space Jockey, and the guy.
Bit on the nose, isn't it?
Yeah. And the idea that was like it was this pilot who basically like they wanted to de-glamorize space travel, that it was kind of boring and monotonous, and that's one of the reasons that they ended up naming this guy the Space Jockey, because that that idea of this guy's probably just sitting there doing his freighter haul and it's super boring, and that like really didn't quite flesh out into full understanding. But it's been that big mystery, and right, some of the comic books have touched on it. I got excited with the newer movies that they kind of fleshed it out a little bit more.
Same.
I enjoyed it.
The engineers are really cool.
But it's just so fascinating, be it the Dan O'Bannon script or the original movie, how stuff has still been mined and picked from that movie to enhance. I mean, heck, a lot of the corporation stuff was the groundwork was put in that movie, and it's just this whole universe is expanded upon. The Aliens definitely does its part of adding to Weyland Yutani, the Space Marines, and how that kind of interplay. United Americas. I feel like it's a rich universe, and not in any small part from the comics. Comics out of the 80s are still my favorite.
I love the novels. I read all the novels in the 90s. It's like it's common now. It's a common theme now where corporate is evil, right? But like throughout the 80s and 90s with these books, it's always been the aliens aren't fucking really actually evil.
You can't blame them for
They're
being
not
them.
villains.
Yeah.
It's the
They're
fucking
just a
corporation.
creature.
They're just monsters. It's like if corporate in real life, it's corporate like let's go get some genetically engineered bears and then fucking let them loose.
Well, there's this even deeper question, right? Of like they portray the aliens as evil, but the aliens are life.
Yeah,
and they're actually doing life. And then
just doing
meanwhile, you
regular
have this
shit.
AI on your fucking ship, and that's not life.
No.
Or is it?
Yeah.
And then that's the
And
other
then-
question,
and
right?
the
And it's
rights,
like
AI
and
rights.
all of those things are kind of working in concert thematically to kind of make something super interesting.
Yeah, I love that world.
Some of the in the Dan O'Bannon script, there was like they kind of explained where the alien came. They came down and was like, this was an engineered bioweapon out of a Weyland-Yutani thing that was released. It didn't make it into the movie. It's still a point of contention between, especially with Covenant, Prometheus.
Yeah. That's one thing they majorly changed.
I had a conversation with Philip Kennedy Johnson, the writer for the new comic book at the Baltimore Comic Con, and his perspective is he doesn't buy into the Covenant Prometheus. It was the AI creating the alien. So in his, his is it's an ancient natural occurring species, and that's the way he's kind of taken some of the stuff. Some of the things, like to me right now, he adds a lot of new alien types, and don't get me wrong, the comics through the 80s and 90s did that as well.
Yeah,
he's doing a little fast for my taste, but
I do trying to put his stamp on it.
I do definitely feel like we had that discussion about specifically he likes the AI conflict and the conflict with corporations and how that interplays, and it not necessarily being so focused about the MacGuffin of an alien over here. But in reality, I think the first new comic does a great job of illustrating that.
Well, I mean, I'll be honest, and not that I'm opposed to seeing a different point of view for sure, but I'll be honest, I've always found like the human creating the AI creates the alien destroys the human, like in a very Jurassic Park almost kind of way. Like it's I've always found that to be a little bit more poetic justice. I guess
Right. I mean, I don't necessarily like that David created the aliens, but like I'm more okay with the idea of that there's something that exists, like a form of it existed with engineers, and they would fucked with it till it is the modern form. I'm more okay with that.
I'm good with that too.
Because that's kind of how the first movie sets it up.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like I want to know where the aliens are from, how they originate, but it's one of those things like Wolverines. Like maybe it's better if you don't exactly know like which fucking planet at which time did it evolve from.
No, I agree with you there. I agree with you there.
Yeah. And some of the comics touch on that. Some of the stuff conflicts in a sense.
I mean, a lot do. There's too many writers, too many media.
Yeah.
Let's move in briefly, at least, before we kind of open everything up to like aliens, like being as though that was the first movie I saw, you and you, like I love that shit almost immediately.
Yeah.
Like,
and what is it not to?
Like, like in a fucking it's Star Wars, like visceral way. I was like, I fucking love this. I love Marines versus aliens. I love and once again, like
G.I. Joes in space.
Exactly. It clicked for me on a fucking different type of level. And like, I remember thinking about like, there was a, you may know, if anyone in this room were to know, it'd be you, but there was a...
He's looking at Joe, by the way.
Yeah, there was a...
for our audio listeners.
No, he's talking to the audience. You might know.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
It's an interactive show. There was it was a miniature pieces. They were pewter or lead. I'm not entirely sure given the time. They had a couple of different licenses.
What did they taste like?
Retardation.
Is it kind of sweet? Sweet.
And like it seemed like they belonged to a role-playing game that I could never find a rule book for. They came in
did you make up your own rules, bud?
They came in almost like so Adam and I did for the Dracula game. So like so they came in almost like a Pelican case. It was like a hard plastic case with like styrofoam on the inside, and it housed usually 4 to 5 characters, a sort of general set of Marines or a general set of aliens, and then one of the pieces had like Ripley in the power armor, and you know what I mean, and one of them had the Queen, and one of them had just a set of eggs and all this shit, and like I had those. I had no idea what role-playing games were other than Games Workshop.
So this is early 90s.
Yeah, and I went to this convention in Pennsylvania. And they had like, and I was like, man, I just want this. I just want to paint these. Yeah. I just want to.
That's cool.
I want to experience these in a physical medium because there was no Kenner line at the time. It was just I want to have some sort of physical representation of this. But that's how much that fucking franchise meant to me after seeing that fucking movie.
I remember being at the Creative Hobby in Columbia.
Yeah.
Like they had alien books.
Not for nothing. God bless the dead. Brutus used to steal works out of that bitch all the time. But continue.
But they had like there's more common now with the art books, but it wasn't art. It was like a picture of like an Asian guy in the Space Marine armor, and then like pointing at it, there's ablative armor, and then like they come from this. And I was just sitting there reading that like source book, basically.
Yeah, dude. I used to get sucked into source books as a kid all the time.
It's cool. So much deep dive information that you don't get.
Especially when you look at the cover and you're like, I hope all the art's like this, and you open up, you're like, it's not.
Yeah,
but it's still cool.
Yeah, and I mean, I like the words. I like books.
What about you, Phil? Seeing Aliens for the first time?
So I'd seen the first movie first. I rented the second one on video and watched it, and it was pretty much total immersion.
Yeah,
that's how I loved it. And it would be years until I ever saw the true Cameron version, which is the special edition, which that's the only
I
version
didn't
I
see
watch.
that. That changed everything.
Better.
I didn't watch it.
I'm not sure I've seen it.
I didn't watch it until I was 19.
You need to, yeah.
I specifically remember I was 19 when I saw that. I'm like, man, I guess it's like you watching Snyder's Cut.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
When I saw that, it was like Bobby watched the Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
When
It's
I
like
eventually
a
saw
whole
the special
nother-
edition.
it-
It's an added 20.
it's
It's
so
an hour to the film.
and it adds a whole nother layer of like
when she
plot
was
to it.
like spends more time with her back at the with people before she went out again,
It
with her
shows
working with her like
Yeah,
dealing with
definitely.
her
I've never seen it.
daughter
talks
it
about
shows
her
it,
daughter and
it's
then
in the fake park.
because we don't know about her. I mean, in the original cut, it really
You
talked
don't
about her
ever,
daughter.
you
No,
don't
hell
find out
no.
about
So now you know that daughter component really adds to the alien mother
and also
and
Newt.
all that. Yeah,
right, because
So
she
it
becomes like a
really-
surrogate mother.
Yeah, it really
Because her
adds another
daughter
layer to
aged
it.
aged to death, but she died of old age.
Right.
By the time she got back.
Yep.
Yeah, so
she missed her
doesn't-
birthday or some
She
shit
was-
like that. She was
it
like, I'll
would
be
be
back
her,
for your
like-
birthday, and
Yeah.
then fucking 57 years later, she's
Let me ask you smart guys here, like in canon here, how long was the Nostromo supposed to? How long were they gone bell to bell on the run? Do we know?
For the run?
4 years, right?
Something along those lines. Yeah, it was their contracts are 6-4.
Yeah, it was something like 4 to 6
depending on the
years.
poll. Like I have the map of where. So like if you look at
Oh, he is the actual.
yeah.
Of course,
So
with the run.
if you look at where like Zeta Reticuli is, and they're not even halfway when they land and
On
first encounter it.
4.6, yeah, okay.
And that's outer. So they were way on the outskirts of
Yeah,
the
so they
universe.
still had a long way to go.
Yeah,
So that's
coming
when they
back
woke
in.
up and they're like, "Oh, we're home."
We're
and
not
they
even
look at the star
halfway
chart. They're
there.
like, "We're not even halfway back home."
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck?
No. Let's talk
So it's
about
not quick travel. there.
right.
Which
which is also more grounded.
Right,
When
yeah.
You're like fucking frozen and
and you're
takes a
pulled
long
away
time
from
to
your
go anywhere.
family.
Let's talk about Alien 3.
Do we have to?
I like it. I fucking
do
like
enjoy
it.
it.
I don't like what they did with Ripley. Right?
So
I don't
like what they did with Ripley
But
either.
Yeah.
overall,
That's the prison one. Is that the
Yeah,
prison?
that's the prison one.
Yes,
Yep.
with the dog. Rottweiler.
Yeah.
Memory serves.
The
Rottweiler.
well, it depends on which version you see. It's either rips out of a dog
Cow.
or rips out of a cow, depending on which version.
I like the dog one better.
I think I've only seen the dog.
Yeah, the dog one is a theatrical cut.
Okay.
The cow one is more bloody, but it's also
But
just
like,
different shots.
I remember with that one hearing the scuttlebutt
I
like
did
in
too.
school. Like I remember people like, man, that shit
Yeah.
weak. Shit's weak. Like, like they were like, everybody was saying,
But
like, it's
seeing
not.
like the poster and stuff with her with the shaved head is like, that's pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
Yep. I remember that was the first one that I remember going to the mall and seeing the poster at the movie theater, going like, and it was about the time the Kenner toys dropped.
Yep.
Yeah, and now let me
yeah.
tell you something. I had a lot of those motherfuckers.
Oh,
I had
yeah.
the one where you press the button in the back and the whole body blows apart.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I never had any of those when I was a
headbutting
kid.
one?
I had that. I had
Yeah.
that one. I had the one where you could squeeze the back of his head and suck up all the water. And
Yeah.
then
Oh yeah, that's cool.
I had that. I will tell you my quick story. I, of course, was aware of the franchise, and I got to thinking about this. It was the Aliens versus Predator comics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So really pulled
the
me
one that
in.
Chris Claremont did.
This was the Dark Horse book.
Yeah, they were Dark Horse.
Yeah.
Chris
Yeah, I didn't
Claremont.
know that Claremont
Chris
did it.
Claremont wrote it. The one that I'm talking about. You
You're
know
talking
what I'm
about
talking
Aliens,
about?
Predator, Deadliest of the Species. Yeah, that was the best
The
one.
covers
Was that
were
the-
fucking
Yes.
amazing.
I think that's the one I'm
interiors
talking
were
about.
trash.
It was a 12 issue series. It's the only one that was 12 issues.
Most
And
of the
Claremont wrote it.
Predator like comic books are like that. The cover is amazing in the
Yeah.
interior.
So
so
that's-
that's for independent stuff.
Based on
That's
that,
the new ones.
I had all that Kenner shit. I had all the Predators, all the aliens. I even had the clear mail away.
Oh, damn. I never
Same
had
mail.
I
that.
had,
Yeah,
the,
that one.
the Queen playset. I remember it
Yep.
broke, and I super glued it, and then it was all white and ashy like super
So
glue.
as much as I don't like NECA, the fact that they've kind of rebrought most of those figures back in some form or fashion is pretty cool.
I still have the Queen.
Yeah.
They still haven't brought the Winged Queen. That's Aliens. Yeah, it's not called Aliens versus Predator. It's Aliens Predator Deadliest of the Species.
Was that the first?
That was first issue.
Yep. That's the best
I had
written
that shit
series.
signed.
Then I started getting the Aliens books.
So the Aliens
after
versus
that.
Predator comics, the miniseries, were all okay, but that one was well written, and I didn't know who Chris Claremont was at the time, and I was like, oh shit,
That was my favorite cover.
yeah, that was the best cover. Yeah, it was cool.
Where the chick had the tank top with the gun sitting profile. You know who this? For those that are listening, it's issue 2 of the Deadliest of the Species. It reminds me of Travis Charest, but 15 years before Travis Charest. Like very simple line work, but very realistic line work. But yeah, no, I was in the same boat. I fucked with that book hard. Alien 3 though, back at it.
Am I the only one that likes it?
I do like it.
I like. It's the fucking CGI that throws me off.
Yeah, the CGI
I wish someone would redo it.
Yep,
I like the story apart from Ripley.
Yes, exactly. So I'm torn with that.
Like, if it was a spin-off and had nothing to do with Ripley, I'd love it.
Okay.
If it was just like if it was an isolated story about an alien colony coming to birth on this prison world, I'd be like, fucking great.
I think I don't. It's not that I don't like what they did with Ripley as a character. It makes sense. She fucking make the ultimate sacrifice. It makes sense for what she did if that was what happened to her.
Yeah,
but I don't want it to happen to her. Same with whatchamacallit, Bishop and Newt and what's his Hicks. Hicks dying. It's like it made the whole all the shit they had to go through to get those guys to survive completely moot. Like it just renders
Or
that
completely nude.
it's I know it's something like it's opposite of when a bunch of people die and you bring them back to life, like in comic books, and renders it meaningless.
There's a bunch of people alive and you start killing them off for no reason.
Exactly. It makes it. It's the same fucking thing. It makes it like just worthless, not worthless, worthless.
So the Dark Horse comics that came out in between those, where they continue the original Alien story as if those characters had lived, are pretty decent.
Yeah.
Earth War does that because Newt grows up to be like a resistance fighter basically,
Ripley,
and works with Hicks.
And
there is a alternate script for Alien 3 as well.
That got turned into a comic during just before the pandemic.
Tell me about the alternate script.
So Ripley survives and she is shipped like in cryo sleep back to Earth, and it's Hicks, Bishop, and Newt kind of are alive. The one of the things that's really weird about it is they introduce like a new kind of biology where there's a scientist who is infected and not necessarily implanted, and instead of like a chest burster bursting out of her, like the alien just grows in her and bursts out of her. Yeah, it's weird. I like
it's almost like a nanotechnology thing where it just kind of grows from a particle.
I like the idea of having Hicks and Bishop, and the thing I like about the new comics is Bishop is still around in the new comics.
Yeah,
Bishop is
talking about making
he's a model now. He's a model number. So in the new books,
so like, you can just have a bunch of different bishops. And they're similar.
He's drawn to look like Lance Henriksen.
So that's nice.
Like
it's cool.
Wasn't there they've been talking about a while back, which is not going to happen, that they're going to make a movie that replaces Aliens 3 with original actors.
Neil Blomkamp was going to do District 9.
That's a fucking tragedy.
He had everybody on board to do that, and then it got either. Do you remember what happened to that?
Nothing worse could happen to this franchise than that.
Yeah, because it was around the time he was working on District 9. Was it District Chappie?
Yeah, District 9. Dude, that guy gets fucked all over left and right.
He's finally
with District 9. It was supposed to be Halo. With Chappie, it was supposed to be fucking Alien. Then why? Maybe it's
great shit.
Maybe it's not tragedy. Maybe it's a good thing. He gets shot on, but then he makes something really good out of it, like District 9 and Chappie.
He's making District 10.
It looked beautiful. And
I would have liked Halo and Aliens 3 reboot.
Sure, absolutely. I kind of buy into what you talk about of like, if Ripley weren't in the picture and like you wouldn't have like killed her off, I don't know. I think what's exciting with a lot of the new stuff they're doing, you don't necessarily need Ripley.
No,
Like,
which should get away from her. Just like in Star Wars, you need to get away from the main
Skywalkers.
cast.
Yeah.
They got their story. Now explore the rest of the universe.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
huge.
And I'm okay with that. I don't know. This is kind of sacrilege. I tend to like Alien Resurrection better than 3.
I'm in the same boat. I'm in the same boat.
I enjoy watching it more, but I don't think it's better.
I think I agree with you.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Listen,
I'm with
I want to say one thing about
I do
Alien
enjoy
3.
it, but it's too cheesy for me.
I think Charles S. Dutton is one of the most underrated actors.
Yeah, in Alien 3.
Well, just
In
period.
general.
He's
In general.
Yeah, he's a
great
good actor.
But I like that they introduced the concept of officially introducing the concept that the alien eggs are implanted in whatever is local in order to get their traits. Because we got the dog alien,
Correct.
and it makes sense. It is the perfect species. You adapt perfectly to whatever the dominant species is because that's what you impregnate.
Correct.
And that's where. While I definitely tend to gravitate more to the pure Aliens IP, I think it's one of the complementary areas of the Predator series is like dropping those eggs on a planet and then hunting whatever those turn into, seeding it,
just to make yourself better.
And it starts to develop, a relationship with a different species with that creature, which enriches the mythology a little bit. It kind of leans more towards the ancient mythology of those creatures.
Have you noticed that he always calls them creatures, just like he always calls dinosaurs animals? It's interesting.
It also explains why they would be spreading, because you don't think aliens would be. It's not a spacefaring species.
If the Predator just brings them around to seed at different spots,
and maybe like an egg. They finish a hunt and they fucking leave, and then there's still fucking alien eggs around.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I like Alien vs Predator. I mean, I like not
Resurrection.
that.
Yeah,
not that.
That's a bridge too far.
It's a fun,
comics
fun
and
watch.
everything.
I like Alien Resurrection better than Alien 3.
Alien vs Predator are pretty good fan films, though.
So
Yeah, maybe.
So-
No, they're not.
For funsies.
one of my problems
enjoy
with
those. They're
Alien
fun.
Resurrection, though, is it kind of messes up a timeline a little bit because they talk about some of the corporations and politics early on in the movie,
But you do get to see an alien swim.
right.
But you also can't
and
have
modern
Alien
CG effects at the
Resurrection without Aliens 3, because the whole
Correct.
point is they got the DNA of Ripley after she was implanted with an alien.
So
Yeah.
they made as best they could out of the situation, and that's why I have a problem with Alien 3, because it really blocks what you can do after that. Like
Well,
you
with
really,
Ripley specifically.
you really had to get creative. Because I just don't think, I think now where we are with the franchise, it's pretty easy to go other places, other stories.
There's so many books. There's so many good fucking books. I wish they would just make a move out of the books.
In the mid to late 90s, hard to kind of pull away drastically from Ripley. So I'm glad they did what they did with Alien Resurrection. Again, spoilers. Like I'm torn about crashing the ship into Earth. Whatever. And then the scene about the alien having a uterus. Whatever. I'm okay with what.
I mean, it's an interesting science experiment.
As a alien fan, I've got to have kind of a. If you're going to do some crazy things, I've got to kind of be okay with it and roll with it.
I mean, it's a mad scientist story, right?
Yes.
And
Yes,
the
yes,
corporate scientist runs wild with money.
and that's again another good. Well, corporate technically it's more the military, and they kind of separate themselves from the corporate.
But that's a separate aspect of that conversation.
Yeah.
That is a component to the whole world, right?
The colonial marines kind of work for the corporate. They have to do what the corporate says back in Aliens 2.
Depends on what, like the colonial marines are like United Americas. Three World Alliance is Weyland Yutani.
Yep.
There's corporate and political interplay, and there's times where like one of the new video games, which it was okay. I really like what they did on the story building of it, and there was times where Weyland Yutani like pulled strings to set up wars, and that's the case in a lot of the novels. Like it's really these corporations like vying for control of a colony, or someone's getting a colony, and then a ship of aliens is sent there to wipe out the colonists, and then the other corporation comes in and picks up the claim, and it's
All right, so we're going to move into some of these extra stories before we circle back into some of the more recent films. But before we do so, we're going to take a quick bathroom break. So, Chuckie O, tell me now. We'll start with one, and then maybe we can expand to two. Actually, let's do two. Tell me top 2 best alien stories not told on screen. In a nutshell.
Aliens genocide. Easily.
Give me the premise.
So after Earth War, the humans have battled away.
What happens on Earth War? I guess
aliens come to Earth and take over the Earth, and humans have to battle back. So that's.
that sounds like a pretty good one to tell.
It is. It is.
That actually sounds like the more logical next story to tell after Aliens.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Well, I mean,
Depends if
they're
you're
kind of
going back
doing
home.
that with the new Hulu.
The Hulu series
is
that's
supposed
coming.
is supposed to be
Yeah.
on Earth.
Okay.
But they don't
Is
give
that-
it, they
is-
haven't given a time period for when it's set yet, right?
They haven't. They just
Okay.
said it's supposed to do more with like.
Probably the 1980s. It seems to be on brand for everything right now.
Is the
Stranger Things,
is Earth Wars
Ghostbusters,
when they had
man.
the different hives battle with the red and the black?
So that's in genocide.
Yeah.
They
It's been a
do.
while since I read these books.
They
Yeah.
do introduce some like the Praetorian, the
Yes,
the
the
guard
guards.
to the
Yep.
king, the
Yep.
queen. They introduce a little bit new biology, but essentially like they have to nuke different hives and like it's.
So give me
it's
the
a cool story, but
so they come to. Let's tell that story. They come to Earth.
It's Earth War, right?
Hang on, who sends them to Earth?
it's not
Or
really.
did they hitchhike?
The eggs, they get places. Eggs go. You fucking forget.
It really starts out with Ripley kind of being a bad mother. And Newt,
She is a
Newt
bad
still being alive. I mean,
relate.
again, to call Newt her mother, but there's a conflicted relationship between Newt and Ripley. Hicks is still around, and they kind of separate. You don't see much of Ripley in it. It becomes more of a Newt Hicks story.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's. Yeah, I get the chronological aspect to it. To
All right.
me, genocide is really
So before
where
we
they
dig
enrich
into
it.
genocide, what's the outcome of the Earth one? What's the name of it again?
Earth War.
Earth War that leads us into genocide. Set me up for genocide.
Okay, so we're like 100 or so years after Earth War. Society has kind of.
You gonna read it?
There's a blurb on the back
Yeah.
of the book.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
That
yeah.
might sum it up pretty
Their
well.
queen is dead, and the hive mind has been left to flounder on its own. On a world bereft of its only guiding force, a schism is taking place. 2 strains of aliens, formerly united by a one and all-powerful mother, now divide their forces for a world-shattering, acid-drenched war.
Oh yeah, the Super Queen, bruh.
So is this where they introduced the Red Queen? I forget.
Yes.
Yeah, they're
Okay,
like the
yeah.
Queen of Queens.
Yeah.
So,
All right, so break it down.
so
I'm getting excited.
they make a drug. They make a drug based on the royal jelly. So
Yeah,
if
it's
you
royal
watch
jelly.
Aliens,
Yeah.
That when the guy ran directly into the wall and exploded,
and you
Yeah.
see that kind of viscous fluid come out of the queen alien sack, that is
Yes.
royal jelly.
This makes noise for viscous fluid.
Yeah.
They made a drug called Xenozip, and it's apparently like
it's a
makes
performance enhancing drug, also
It-
euphoria, but that makes you
yeah.
go crazy.
It's
Yep.
like a super
Exactly.
PCP.
Yep.
Yeah,
Basically.
pharmacist talk, bro.
and so they've used it all up. They used up all the royal jelly in the production of this, and like it starts off at a like the Olympics,
Yes.
and one of the guys takes a
take it.
pill, wins the race, runs through a wall, and splats into a pillar.
He runs like 30 miles an hour. He beats
Yeah.
everybody and then doesn't stop and just goes straight
Yeah.
into a wall,
And
bro.
so-
They plot the T-Rex at 35.
So the military is like, we need more of that special drug, and so they basically co-opt
There's no corporate
this-
money.
Yeah, they co-opt this
pharma.
corporate mogul, exactly, big
Back to
pharma,
those themes.
to go to the. What in this they term as like the home worlds of the aliens, which again there's some canon objection to that at times, but they send this detachment of Marines funded by this corporate bigwig who rides along to go and harvest some queens so they can bring them back and have a ready source of Xenos that they get
Is
to
that
this.
the one with the like armor of the
think I heard a
acid,
similar
acid
story.
resistance
Yeah.
code?
Yeah.
Like when the
Yeah.
acid hits it, like
Yeah, the
it
acid
fucking
resistant
sheds.
armor was pretty
Yep.
good.
They-
Bro, I
like
still
a-
remember this shit from like 20 plus years ago.
Yeah,
man.
That's a cool
they
point.
basically kind of figure out like how to deal with it.
But they all, well, spoiler, I think they all died.
No, a lot of them do.
A lot of them die.
Most of them.
Because there's
the armor gets fucked up. The guy in there.
One of the guys turns out to be like a corporate spy, and they match all kinds of xenozip in him, and he goes on a killing rampage and ends up dying himself.
Yep.
So that whole part about harvesting queens, I think I heard a documentary. A pimp from Memphis had a similar story about going to Mississippi. Yeah, harvesting queens
for their viscous fluid.
Well, you call it what you want.
Okay,
I don't know what they call it, Memphis. Yeah,
Memphis is a fucking war zone right now.
Yeah. Which one was the one with the robot alien?
Harvest.
I like
that one was that was a very good one.
That was a very good one.
Yes, nicely done.
Look, I am with you guys on this side of the table.
That dude cracks me out though. He's like, that was a very good one. Yes.
Like the art. I just find the art of the comics in the 80s and 90s. Just some of it is weird, but it reflects, I think, comics of the 70s in that art style, almost watercolors,
almost that Mobius style.
It's
Sometimes.
beautiful.
It's Morbing
Like Earth War had some
not
Sam
Morbing
Keats stuff in it.
Yeah.
I like the
Before he did the Max.
I like the cover art of the novels.
Those are awesome.
That, like those
the guys-
90s fucking sci-fi cover art.
It's
Cover
very 40K.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
well,
it is.
It's
yeah.
also very.
Well, 40K is very aliens.
It's also very.
Parts of it.
Yes.
The pose is very Jim Lee, Wolverine. Standing on the cover.
Yeah.
There's I think Gambit's the other one. Something. Maybe.
And then, like the cover art for Rogue War, where it showed the Rogue King fighting the Queen. It was fucking awesome.
The King was genetically engineered and did not do well.
All right, so somehow we got lost in some scuttlebutt.
Yeah, dude, we just got lost.
They're taking this pill.
Yes.
And let's all calm down so we can hear the story.
Yeah.
They're taking this pill with the royal jelly, which I'm now calling my semen from now on. and
Not Xenozip.
and continue.
So everyone wants this drug because whether you're an athlete, whether you're just someone who wants to work, and primarily the military because they want to give it to them and have super soldiers. I mean, that harkens back to essentially Nazi use of methamphetamines.
Dad, dude, talk about it.
Yeah. So they just go on this expedition, and there's some intrigue on the way. Well, they come out of hypersleep, and there's like a week or two of intrigue as they head in there. And one of the nice things, I don't know if it's nice, but the corporate guy who you generally aren't really liking kind of has a character arc where you realize, like, man, maybe I'm kind of, I've sacrificed the lives of these people that I've gotten to know, and they're good people, and maybe what I was doing was wrong. And he comes kind of he has a full character arc, comes kind of with the good side with the lead female protagonist who is Ripley-esque, but not not like, I mean, she is central to it, but it's not it doesn't break the focus of the story, and it's a good, I don't need Ripley, I can have a story in this universe, we can tell something, we can wrap it up in a bow, and here it is in its completeness. We don't need to continue it or drag it out. It's a nice.
There is something to be said for stories that can start and end without.
Each of the comic miniseries kind of do that. They have like an ending.
Yeah, I mean, some
Rogue
of them
One.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's attached to the bigger universe, but
And
it's finished on
they
its
can
own.
reference either in each other sometimes, but they don't necessarily have to tie in.
I mean, they still establish, the planet that they went to in this book, and it's in the canon, and it's generally known to stay away from that place because it's.
So that's probably your strongest recommend, you'd say.
Yeah, if you've outside of the movies, I mean, so the other one that you mentioned isn't really a book itself. It's really, if you want to, because it's kind of like that, that Star Wars reference. I remember growing up, looking at that Star Wars reference, reading every single thing in there, memorizing it. This is kind of like that now, where it condenses all. I mean, there's some role playing stuff, and if you're not a role playing person, there's some stuff you got to read around. But it is a dense collection of all the canon, all the main parts right now, and it's really brought it together. Even if you don't appreciate
and what is that called?
That is the Alien role playing game by Freely.
That's why I was just flipping through it. I mean, it's very fascinating. Just I took 5 minutes to flip through it.
Yeah,
I asked him when we were going to play the game.
They definitely coalesce and build onto stuff that you'll hear. Like you'll hear talk about Three World Empire, Wayland, more about Weyland-Yutani, the Union of Progressive People. They really flesh everything out and really solidify it in canon. It's not a sit down and read it like a book.
It's a source book.
But it
Yeah,
is.
source book.
So this
It's the best.
This also
encyclopedia.
incorporates the engineer stuff that's from the newer films.
Yep,
Okay.
yep, and actually takes the engineers further because they talk about there's bombing events where planets are bombed by the black goo.
Oh, okay.
And they ask like who's doing this?
Could you say that again?
Goo?
Okay.
His goo walks.
Yeah. All the goos in the goozerator.
So let's move into a bit in order to kind of cover it all. Let's try to do 5 minutes on Alien vs. Predator films, et cetera, et cetera. I'm just going to say this, and then I'm just going to get out of the way unless I have funny commentary to add. I think they're awful. I think they feel fan filmy.
That's what I said. They're great fan films.
But in the worst way.
I don't know. It's like
aside from special effects.
It's like Death Battle, whatever. It's like those YouTube videos where Ryu versus Green Ranger. It's like that.
Oh, from Bat in the Sun?
It's not because
I watch it like that.
See, I can't because I
don't like
want
action.
No, I actually want more action.
Okay.
I want more action of predators hunting down aliens. But what I get is this
people.
story about these people
I like the chick. I like the
connecting with the predator. Dude, that first one, I halfway expected the predator and the chick to give each other a high five before they went and killed the final couple of aliens.
She exists. She gets
supposed to be
taken
based
in
on
the
Machiko.
source material.
And just because that's true doesn't make it
Talking
good.
about Sanaa Latham's character in the alien.
I don't know who the key grip was. I don't don't know who it was.
The lady at the end who
But she gets adopted by the predators and she become a predator. It's great.
I'll butcher an Asian name. So
Machiko?
Yes.
Yeah, that's who it
Machiko
is.
Nachi or something.
Yeah, and
Out
she
of-
shows
Let's
up
not get caught up in the names.
Yeah.
Let's just continue.
It's another one of these novels.
Yep.
Again, out. If you ask me a second one, it's basically
what's it called?
I'm drawing a blank.
She
on
was
the
from the
name of it.
original Aliens vs.
not-
Predator at first.
Yeah, it's. I'd have to look. I read that novel too.
I don't
and
know if
haven't
it's,
read it.
I don't know if it's pertinent.
Was it War? Okay.
Anyway, right. So the premise of that book is they're on this. They call it like Rhythm, which is basically a cattle product. So this planet that they farm this cattle product, and the predators come and do their thing by dropping eggs on a planet and sending their young predators to do their hunt that anoints them a full
Yep,
warrior.
which I do dig.
Which is cool. And then it's that that farm colony that has to deal with the problems, and some of the young predators get killed, which is not a common thing apparently in these hunts. And this female protagonist becomes kind of a hunter of the aliens, encounters the senior Broken Tusk, I believe was the predator's name, because and he observes they kind of have a little cat and mouse, and he observes her skills as a hunter. She ends up killing the queen, and in that moment the predator comes, breaks off a finger of the queen's hand, dips it in acid, and then etches into her forehead her what it's like little knife is her anointed name, and that's kind of where the story ends. But her character is picked up in other Alien Predator books, where she becomes the only human hunter amongst predators, and of course not everyone.
The language and all that.
Yeah, and a lot of them don't accept her because
Racism, because she's Asian.
Yeah. But that's
Scarlett Johansson played her.
so when it,
She won in the movies. No, it had a black girl player, which I'm okay with.
but it hurt me. It hurt me as a fan when I saw that at the end, and I thought, oh, we can have kind of like
we could
a
have.
realization of that.
Yeah.
No.
But we could have just had the full story out of that novel, and it would have been a great story.
Yeah.
Instead, we got the trash that we got.
I'm going to be honest with you. I think when it comes to Alien versus Predator, I'm more in the same boat that I am with the Transformers. Where I just don't need the human story.
Right.
Like,
Well, the
just-
problem is they
same
don't
here.
speak English.
Just give me subtitles.
The entire movie. So
I'm 100%.
I am.
I'm
As a fan,
100% okay with it.
Me too. But
100% okay
their
with it.
budget is not
That's
there.
the problem. Is that you're trying to make a $1, right? So you had to have a star attached, and you have to have
even.
no, but they do.
No. Just the fact that I don't imagine I guess Passion of the Christ would be the only one, right?
Yeah, but it wasn't set up. It wasn't a studio film set up to be a blockbuster. This is a studio. This is Walt Disney at this point.
But regardless of whether it's a blockbuster or not, for a Gen Pop movie in general, even rated R, I can't imagine them shelling out $1 for a
Apocalypto.
Another Mel Gibson movie.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, but that was backed.
But they spoke language there,
Spanish,
right? But in this movie, there would be no real language at all for anyone.
No, just a bunch of all that shit. Give me that. Give me that.
That'd be the whole thing.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Is
I'll
that
wait for the dub.
Exactly.
That would be wild.
Fan dub.
Jim. Just a bunch of.
But people would want a dub.
But that's the thing is you can't make a blockbuster movie and not have a human to attach to it. You can't.
See,
according to Hollywood.
In the Aliens, you can do it the right way. Like the only kind of saving grace, the sliver of a saving grace, was at the end of that movie when Weyland Yutani operative had one of the weapons. Okay, if they would have expanded more on that, if there would have been a part of the corporation that was a team tracking the alien or something, I would have had more buy-in there. But all of them, the only one that I had I'm predators, they were hunting hunters.
Yeah,
that's on point for the source material.
Yeah, but now we're off base again, right? Because we're only talking about Alien versus
There's
Predators.
Not been a single.
The second one is awful.
The
second one I like the concept of the alien predator.
I think
Predator alien.
Both of them
because that's
I'm from the books.
In the universe.
I'm good with that too. Just other than that, burn the whole fucking thing.
Yeah, so that's the problem.
Right.
They've ruined the concept because they taken these concepts that could have been good and they've taken bits and pieces that are good and put them in these fucked up awful things.
I don't care about Shia LaBeouf's love life
when
the Decepticons are taking over the planet.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just how I feel.
Yeah.
So let's move into.
But Alien vs Predator, if you want good Alien vs Predator, the arcade game.
Well, so I'm saving games.
Okay.
So
that could have been during World War.
5 minutes on the Prometheus and Covenant.
Oh, okay.
Love-hate relationship.
I love those movies.
I love
Prometheus. I do not like Covenant.
I love Prometheus. I still to this day have not been able to make it through.
But
Covenant.
it's got Danny McBride in it.
Yeah.
And he's great in it.
But it seems soulless to me. Covenant seems soulless to me. It just seems like going through the motions, where Prometheus seems like it had something to offer the
Covenant doesn't feel like a Ridley Scott movie. It feels like he caved to the Twitter feed and all the flack he got from Prometheus.
I feel the same way.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like his film at all because he usually bucks the system, and he didn't in that. He felt he did every trope imaginable.
It feels like a trope movie.
Yeah, it was trope after trope after trope.
I agree.
To me, if it allows him to make another one, a follow-up to it,
Yeah.
I'll tolerate it.
Yeah, I would still like to see how they wrap that up.
I like the actress in it, but again, it just feels like they're trying to shoehorn.
Which one are you talking about?
What is her name?
God, this sucks. This sucks.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Nomi?
Oh, I love.
She was not in the second one.
No, I was trying to establish which movie we're talking about.
Definitely,
Covenant. Okay, I don't remember. Okay,
yeah.
Who?
What she has a dragon tattoo.
What do you think about Prometheus?
Like I said, I like that they take some of the original source material from Alien, incorporate it in there as a nod. I like bringing Peter Weyland into it and kind of
Guy Pearce was good.
And the other thing, as a fan, it gave me information about that space jockey.
Yes.
Which
I need more engineer.
That's why.
I need more engineer.
That's why Ridley Scott came in and did it.
That whole bit when they watch it's like the footage, it's like a digital footage of it or whatever. Like when they show how it all like I loved that shit. And then of course the engineers. I could do a whole movie on just
I need more
them.
like
a prequel to the prequel.
Yes.
Them from the beginning of the film seeding planets with like a mix of their own DNA and the goo just start life.
Oh yeah,
I agree.
Fascinating.
And you know why?
Awesome.
You know half the reason why that's fascinating. Because they have a fucking interesting character design,
Yeah.
which these fucking shits have gotten weaker and weaker with is strong character design. The
He's
engineers,
just like a white bald big guy.
They're kind of blue. They're kind of blue.
there's something like
Something you can relate
Chuckie
to.
just took his hat off. But there's something like immediately striking about them.
Yeah.
like they have a presence. It's like you
Yeah.
want to
and they're
know their
not
story.
quite, that their faces like
They're in that uncanny valley.
Yes, exactly.
It's like
There's some humanoid qualities, and then some that's distinctly not
Well,
us.
you've probably heard that, people say there's something built into our genetics to not trust things that look like us but aren't us.
Yeah.
Like robots.
Or
Yeah.
whatever the fuck.
yeah, definitely.
Good point.
Whoever started the simulation.
Yeah.
and they kind of flesh out too, like the ancient aspect of them and how they might have interacted with us in the past. So like the whole archaeological take on it and finding the creator.
Yes.
It brings that whole
Yes.
thing. Everything comes full circle.
I agree.
From the first one, and it really, as a fan, it's gratifying.
But
Does go kind of off the rails on the second one a little bit.
I'm still in for the ride, though.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at. Like,
Yep.
as I think, as probably a Transformer fan, you probably have to have a low bar in terms of what you'll accept.
I
As
don't adjust my bar. So.
but I'm usually
Been doing the limbo for years, Chuckie O. See why his nose is actually scarred from bumping that fucking bar.
I'm generally happy if it'll flesh out a little bit more of the galaxy.
Yeah.
The Alien versus Predator being a very stark exception to that. It's just like go back in your hole.
It's the only time you get to see a Predator homeworld potentially.
Right.
In the
right.
sec-
That
at the
one
very
scene
beginning,
with the
yeah,
wolf
the
It
one
would be
scene, yeah.
nice. It would be, not saying
That'd
that
be
like
so cool to see.
I'm almost eternally skeptical. Now, the single Predator IPs that are just Predator, like I've been okay with those. Like,
Predator
all
and
right,
Predator 2.
I didn't like-
Predator 2.
I like Predators with
I like
with
Predator.
Adrian
I like that
Brody.
one too.
I
On the
think,
moon.
I think that's
But let's not get into Predators.
Right,
Let's talk
yeah,
about
yeah.
Aliens video games.
okay.
Only one, I'm just going to be honest, the only one I've ever played is Alien vs. Predator.
Oh, no, an arcade version. That was Super
I
Nintendo.
think I only played it for Super Nintendo.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was bad. I was so upset when I got a Super Nintendo one and I realized it wasn't the arcade.
And my buddy Tony Adams, I shouldn't have said his last name, he borrowed it, and it's very common. He borrowed it, moved away, I never got it back.
And it's been 25 years.
Yeah.
That's an interesting topic for another day. What's something you loaned as a kid to somebody and never got
I'll
it?
put that in the notes. Chuckie, tell me about the best storyline related to
So it's probably Isolation, right?
Did
Did you ever play Colonial Marines?
Let's let Chuckie
Yeah,
tell this story
I've
real quick.
definitely played a bunch of them. Stuff on PC, stuff
Yeah.
every console. I actually
The first one on Jaguar?
Yes,
Oh,
you just read my
Yeah,
mind.
what's up?
I
God.
never played that.
That
I
one-
heard about it, but I never
That
played
one
it.
was probably
the first one, man.
It was one of the best one because it's like that whole station, like and you could play as Alien, a Predator, or the Marine.
And they all have different mechanics. with
Yeah.
different
Oh
vision.
yeah.
And it was
I
like
played the PC version.
You
of
had
that.
6 levels of the station to go around, like Jaguar 64, like that was probably one of my favorites. Like having that smart gun, like
Yep.
it definitely puts you in there. It didn't. Like some of the ones that are recent really add to the lore. That one just fed your hunger
Yes.
from Aliens and then any kind of and just
Because there wasn't
go.
much back then either.
Yeah,
That was like the
no.
only one.
No, yeah, and I'm sure if I looked at it today, I'd be horrified.
Yes.
but
For its time.
yeah, running around as an alien and like making eggs, which is not really canon. Well, it is, but
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
whole other
That's
discussion
different.
to have.
With the morphing.
Yeah,
Well,
the
the alternate
overmorphing.
cut of the first movie. We didn't talk about that in the first movie.
right. Yeah,
There's a different lore when they turn the people into eggs.
Yeah, the ovomorphing is a
It's weird.
controversial thing.
Yeah.
But
Like,
no,
you know
those-
how they plastered the people to the wall?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like it turns them in one of the alternate scenes, deleted scenes, you see the guy slowly being turned into an egg.
Yeah, in,
I don't think I like that.
Body horror.
It was director's cut of the 2003.
almost Cronenberg-esque.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The body horror of it makes it more scary than
That's fair.
than just a chest
as a isolated film.
Yeah.
Within the world, I don't think
I don't like it.
Okay, yeah. I'm
just
with
like
you.
the whole alien growing inside of you thing,
Yeah.
like into another alien.
Yeah.
So it's technically, I think the seminal game out of all of them is that is that
Smart motherfucker.
Alien versus Predator on 64.
Was it first person?
Yes.
Okay. Because they did
it
a
was-
sequel to it, I think, on PC, which is one I played
Right,
later
and
on.
I played that one, and that
was
one,
fun.
that one was good. The newest game out is
Infestation, right? Is that the shooter game?
yes, it's a third person shooter. Like,
Is it? Oh, so
Premium
that's been out.
Squad.
So it
yeah,
is.
I wanted to try that out.
I've played it once, and it's horrifying because they come so fast.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it reminds
so
me.
to speak.
It reminds, so to speak. It reminds me of my favorite Aliens video game experience, and that's the fucking arcade shooter.
Oh, yeah, with the where you get the rifle?
Dumping
yeah.
quarters in that
Yeah.
motherfucker.
See, I don't really
The
remember that one.
older one, because
Yeah.
there's
That was-
newer
that
ones
wasn't
that are
everywhere.
just
I'm
not
talking
quite.
about like the probably early mid '90s
Yes.
ones.
Yep.
that
Yep.
had
That's
super great
Yep.
graphics.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
it's
Awesome.
Similar to the
dropping
T2,
quarters.
I expect.
Yep.
That's
Exact
the
same
iconic
concept.
one.
That's the
That's
one
the
I
iconic
remember.
one,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's more commonplace, but
same concept,
Right,
same
right.
probably cabinet even.
Yeah.
Right.
Fucking
that, yeah, that
love
arcade
those.
game was
Nice.
fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I dumped so much money
It's
in
like
that.
40
Yeah.
the
Aerosmith one was the
$40
best,
in this
though.
game. It didn't beat it, but
Yeah.
but I believe it's called is it Infest? I don't know. The new one that's out on like the next gen consoles.
Yeah,
is
that's one I wanted to try, but
it's a
the
shooter.
trailer for it was
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
Oh man, it's so fast.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, they
horrifying.
didn't
Aliens are
do-
fast.
Because
They
I-
come from everywhere, Joe.
I tried to play Colonial
They all come
Marines,
together
which
at
is
the
set
same
on
time.
the
That's
Sulaco.
more horrifying.
So that game is fantastic, but it's super. It's like the hardest shooter I've ever played.
buggy, like when it first came
Yeah,
out.
it was
really buggy.
it is glitchy.
You didn't just say it was buggy. did you?
It was a buggy game.
Give him. He needs a horn for that one. That's a good one. There.
All right, let's wrap that up then. Chuckie O, I appreciate all of your alien knowledge. And,
One more thing I want to add.
Yeah.
And you know I'm a big proponent of this. If you like the space politics and the corporations, watch The Expanse.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
It is
Yeah.
all
I
of
love
that
X-Men.
without the xenomorphs, but xenomorphs. What if the Smurfs got egged?
Dude.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god. Veiny
They'd be
Smurf.
veiny as fuck.
But like the Expanse is just a great, like I don't. Expanse could be a good anything. Like
Right.
put robots in it, it'll be great Gundam. Put fucking aliens in it, it'll be great aliens. It's just like the perfect
it's got a
platform.
supernatural, element to it. Fucking love the show. Been reading the books again, so
We got a couple write-ins, not too many, but it says, well, hello there, Nerd Ragers. This is from Alan Mack. He says, hope all is well with you. 1, thoughts on the new Skyfire? Will any of you pick it up or just stay with Fans Toys?
the Fans Toys one ruined my fandom for Transformers for several years, so I will definitely not be going anywhere near it.
Yeah, I think it looks like fucking trash, so I'll be sticking with the Fans Toys. Phil, do you
I wasn't in on it anyway.
Yeah.
I cherry picked too much.
This is going to be the concept of a sit-down Saturday coming soon
Okay.
about really getting to the bottom of this two-tune for your own good.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think so
shit.
too. It looks too.
It looks like you're spending more money to make something look silly.
Man, somebody wrote
Just
in a
like
while
those
back.
fucking statues. There's hundreds of dollars to look like
Shit.
featureless, detailless.
Yeah.
I don't remember who it was, but somebody wrote in and said they wanted their toys to look like toys, and that's like stuck with
That's
me.
fucking- that's fucking with you.
wild. Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
fucking
We
with
had
you.
talked about that. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Chris, what did you make of the MJF pipe bomb? Real or work?
It's a shoot, work, shoot underneath a shoot, work, shoot. Those
You heard it here first, folks.
You got all that? Rewind, slow down, play back.
Just so you guys know, there's a character named MJF that's an AEW star. He was hired in when they were hiring indie guys for 50, 60 grand a year, and that was more than they were making now. Well, now he's probably arguably one of the top 5 stars in the company, and they brought all these people from WWE, and they're paying him millions of dollars, and he wants to get paid. They've given him a raise, but it isn't what he wants. He no-showed a signing thing. He did work the match he was supposed to work. He literally opened the show. He apparently showed up before the show, before his match, and then left right after. And he did a promo, and it was very graphic. I mean, for what it was. But at the end of the day, the guy controlling everything that he's talking shit about that is not going to let him keep a hot mic, for 30 minutes chewing him out, which he called him a fucking mark, which is, if you know what that wrestling term means, is not a good thing. I'm thinking
It's also a term in the streets of Compton, I believe, from watching Menace to Society.
yeah, Mark ass busters.
You could be a Mark ass buster.
Mark ass busters,
which I believe means you're a victim. You're
Well,
like a victim waiting to happen. Like you're a mark.
yes.
I could rob you. You're weak.
Do you know where that term comes from?
I do not, because I live on the East Coast.
Well, that's true. I'm a little bit carny.
Yeah.
And the carnies, when there was somebody that, this guy spent $40 at the basketball game, they mark him on the like, hey, how you doing, buddy? And they like slap his back with a chalk hand. So he's marked. And now everybody, all the other carnival barkers will know to go after him.
Makes sense.
Deep pockets. I think it is. I think it's a work because now they've done things like the networks put out a decree that they don't want him on TV, and that's all been publicized. I think it's all a work. I think it's great fucking storytelling. I'm excited to see where it goes.
All right.
There you go.
That's super meta, but that's good.
And then he said, 3, with Star Wars Celebration 2023 being announced, would any of you guys be thinking of going and knocking it off your list of places, cities to see? Where is it?
No idea.
I don't know.
It's London, I think, right?
Oh.
I believe it's London next year.
Cheerio and all that.
Oh, I'd love to make it. I really
I'm pretty
would.
sure I saw
I'll
that
go
on the
off the
Twitter
pond,
feed.
be there.
I would like to say wouldn't miss it. Good chance I might.
Might be able to roll it into one big trip.
But I might be going to the UK next year.
Chip, chip, cheerio.
All jokes aside. So it won't be for Celebration. Like I'll be honest with you. I love Star Wars Celebration as a thing. Like I enjoy that thing. But I would never go to London for it. Like if I was going to London, I would just want to experience London.
Yeah.
I'll just wait till Celebration goes to like New Hampshire or some shit
Cleveland.
and go. You know what I mean?
Like,
and go see it.
It doesn't
there.
need to be a destination.
Yeah,
thing.
I would rather go to London to just see London.
Yep. So it is. It is in the 15th one. Will be in London.
And then he says, "Love the work. Keep it going, Alan Mack."
Thanks, Alan.
So, and then Travis. What up, Travis? Travis was here
What up?
recently. He said, "What up, Nerd Rages? Long time listener, first time caller. Why the long wait, Travis? Well, yeah. This is a long one. And I do have a question, but before I get to that, I just wanted to thank Bobby, Laura, and the Skull Children for their Skullfest hospitality. I had already met Bobby a few times. While I brought blankets and art book. So I knew the vibes, and it was great meeting and talking with Chris and Joe a little and touring Joe's house. As an introvert, sup, Joe? This was my first foray into actually connecting with other collectors, and it's dope how people from different walks of life came together peacefully and lovingly and just hung out. Everyone was super friendly, and I'll never forget the experience. I did need time to myself afterward, but I spent the time decompressing and reflecting on an amazing weekend. Sorry so long. Had to get that out of the way. There's a photo of me attached to jog everyone's memory.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna say, which one was it? Yeah, that's right. I didn't know.
And then he says,
That is a good idea, though.
Yes, I asked for that. I asked name with pictures, bro.
Now on to my question. What was the interaction that made you decide not to do business with toy stores you don't purchase from? Asking for myself, because I'm relatively new to collecting and I buy from most sites, but maybe I'm missing something I should be looking out for.
So,
Christopher,
there's a 5% chance.
Christopher, I have to pour another drink.
Would you like me to handle this?
No.
Oh,
Yeah, but you
before
can
this
handle-
conversation.
No, I'm gonna.
I mean, I don't know how much we want to put in the wind here.
So I'll say I don't use TF Source because I find their shipping to be very slow. Like, and they used what's that, Joe? Are you familiar with Smart Shipping or whatever?
Yeah,
it's like you send it FedEx, but FedEx ships it to UPS. UPS ships it to USPS, and then they bring it to your door. But I paid fucking $8 for it, so why the fuck ain't you just bringing it to me?
Yeah.
Yep.
It looks like a good zigzag pattern across the United States.
So that's one of the reasons why I don't fuck with TF Source on a shipping level, even though they've always been good to me, person to person. BBTS is on my fucking radar after this past
really?
week. Nah,
Okay.
it's my fault. I take responsibility, but
I need to square with you on that, by the way, because I
No, you don't. No,
well,
you don't.
or whatever.
there'll be a movie that pops up and you'll buy my ticket.
Well,
and
I
that'll be
did the back
end
end of the deal, so I'll get that from you today. Then.
It's sitting up there with your kickback, your Perceptor.
Oh man, look at this guy returning stuff.
Ready to go.
All right.
So the only other place that I don't do business with is the Chosen Prime.
Same.
I don't do business there. It's not personal. It's business. There's things that he did to try to forward his business and protect his business. And as a result, it had a direct negative impact on my business to a point where some of it was many could view as a direct attack on what I was doing. I saw him face to face. I approached him about it face to face. He denied it. I already had the screenshots. So to me, I had the screenshots of emails he had written to me, that's the end of it.
Right.
You know, like, and like I said, like he has, like I'm 41 years old, Joe. Like I'm not waiting for him. You know what I mean? I'm not rolling around with my guys ready to spin the block on the ops.
Right.
I'm 41 years old.
You don't pay somebody to do that.
No, I'm not doing that either. But I'm not going to do business there. And aside from this, I think this is the only time I've ever said his name or the name of that company live on any platform. I could take a deep dive on the topic.
There's several paths to that topic, but yeah, that's what's on my radar too.
Of a very long history but between the two of us that goes back to the very first TFCon in Chicago. But maybe we'll save that for the next Zoom meeting.
Ooh,
you know, but I will say that basically the end result was the Chosen Prime as an entity had contacted Zeta and asked them to never send me anything ever again. I have in somewhere the screenshot. I approached the Chosen Prime as a store about it. They denied it. As soon as they denied it, then I know that you're a liar, which is fine. That's your life choice. You can live with that. I'm not looking to fight. I'm not looking for violence. That's not my bag. But it does tell me everything that I need to know about you. So you stay over there, and I'll stay over here. And that's the end of it for me.
Yep.
You know?
I mean, there's a lot.
I'm sorry. And
go ahead.
But he's a family man. He's got a wife. He's got kids. I wish them all the best. Like, I'm not on that shit. Like, I'm not on that. You know, I want everybody to be successful, but you just have to be successful away from me. You know, and all I can hope is that you want the same for me. Yeah.
Nope. You summed it up. That's good. You're good.
And I think that's it. I'm trying to think if there's any other place where I'm like, never. But I don't think there is. You know, I'll be honest. If there's people that have crossed me that would have to have a serious conversation with, not cross me, but crossed our relationship, where we would have to have a serious conversation before we ever did anything again. I'll put those names out there. Moss Toys. We would have to have a serious conversation.
Do they even exist anymore?
No, but Spencer, if you were to contact, like, you would have to make right to all of these people that I know that lost money on this fucking pre-order. GCI, like, always was good to me. He's never done anything wrong to me, but he has affected a lot of people I know. And while we dealt with each other in the past, for us to deal with each other in the future, he would have to amend for that, or I couldn't work with him in the future. Exactly. I can't hold what he did to somebody else against him for me, but I can say, look, we can't work together in the future because you've done this to people that I do care about. And while I also care about you and we've had a good rapport, I can't work with you until you make it right with them. You know, it's the best I can do.
Makes sense.
Right?
Yep.
And that's that. So then we have Sean W. Sean W., let me say this. If you're ever remotely fucking close to my house, contact me immediately and get a seat at this fucking table, because this guy deserves to be on a show. He's written in like numerous times. Every time he writes in, we're all fucking laughing and carrying on like he's here anyway. There's just a vibe with this dude. Okay. Hey, NRR crew, are there any installments of a franchise, using whatever definition of franchise you choose, that you hated upon first release, but with passage of time, you find that they no longer bother you? Now that you have reevaluated them exactly, or that you love them now, just that enough time has passed that the bad parts don't hurt as much. Now, this is a long one, so to speak, but it's worth reading. I'm going to give you an example. I hated Batman Forever when it came out, like most right-thinking people did. It was goofy. It opened the door to an even worse sequel. It was an insult to the dark Tim Burton movies, all that jazz. But today, with 11 Batman movies and 7 different actors in my rear view, I find that I no longer have any hate in my heart for this doofy, ugly duckling. The parts that I liked, I still like, and the parts that I didn't like are now almost charming in their badness. I look at Bruce Wayne adopting a 30-year-old orphan the same way I would an outdated special effect, or an 80s movie where the heroes use gay slurs. I don't like Batman Forever now, but I definitely don't hate it anymore. I don't begrudge its presence in my 4-movie DVD set. I have friendly feelings about it, like reminding an old stupid pet that used to trip over its own feet.
Wow.
Which is not to say my generosity is endless. The only thing that will halt my rage for Batman and Robin is the sweet embrace of the grave. Sean W.
Nice.
I'm going to point out a couple things immediately for me. I hated Game of Thrones at first glance. I found it to be overdone, like overcomplicated for the sake of being complicated. I had a hard time attaching to any of the characters. There were too many names thrown at me almost immediately. It wasn't user friendly. After watching it a second and third time, the first couple episodes, I loved it, but it took some understanding. I was on a learning curve, and because I was in the resource room, it just took me a little bit longer to get up to the top. The only other one that I'm going to mention, and I'm not going to say that I like it, because I don't, but I respect it, which is significant, is The Matrix.
Okay.
When I watched The Matrix for the first time, I walked out of there saying contrived, borrowing too much from other stuff, not enough original ideas, bad fucking acting, bad fucking, like, let's make him cool. I know what to do, sir. Give him sunglasses and a black trench coat.
Bro, you love a motherfucker with sunglasses.
Only
right.
if they're
You
a
thought the fucking
raisin
mouse-
or a mouse, Joe. Not see. That's what you missed. You missed the irony. If you're wearing black outfit with a trench coat, the badasseries are the work's already done, sir. You don't need to add sunglasses to the
Like
mix.
Gambit doesn't need sunglasses.
He has a pink shirt with electric blue boots.
A muscle shirt.
Yeah, at that time. Now it's not such a big deal. Joe Rogan's on fucking Flagrant 2 wearing basically the same outfit. But in hindsight,
Yeah.
seeing what it has done, what it has inspired in later works, what the special effects work has lent itself to, et cetera, the doors opening that it did to the possibility of new sci-fi with new lore, I respect the fuck out of it. It's just not for me. Anybody else?
Breaking Bad for me. I struggled to watch that. Like I started that twice. Like I could barely get through the first episode until the bathtub collapsed. Then I was like, oh fuck, okay, we're in now. It's like the hook was episode 3, and I just could not get through those first couple episodes for the longest time. And once I did, we're off to the races.
Anybody else? Anything that they didn't like at first? Like, it's okay because we only got one left, and we're at 2 hours and 15 minutes anyway. So let's wrap it up. All right, this is from Ryan Coleman. He says, "Woo! Back on Patreon and worth every cent." He says, "Dude." He said, "Love the pop measurement system." Bobby, your comment on
It's 3 pops, by the way. It's
Yeah,
3 pops.
I know. I told you that. I looked at it. 3 pop night could be a good Pop Smoke tribute trio. The Rosinante.
Yes,
Rosinante.
Rosinante. That's the
Rosinante
ship.
is Coke Zero. Great taste, less filling. I don't know. What is the Rosinante?
It's the ship and the Expanse.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Millennium Falcon.
so I think
It's
that's
also Don Quixote's
So maybe it's a statement on the Expanse. The Sega Nomad, that's a blast from the past. My grandparents bought me one when I was a kid.
Flex shit.
No better way to drain 6 AA batteries in 9 minutes.
Wow.
Paired with the Batman and Robin Genesis game that was impossible to play on TV, 18 inches or less because of damn fussiness of the controller. Yeah, had one until mom needed to make the rent payment and she realized that I hadn't touched it for a week. Bitch. I miss GamePro and EGM. Truly independent games magazines actually would give truthful reviews. Agreed.
Yep.
Cookies. I'm an Oreo dunker. Used to use a spoon to fish them out of the milk until
Yes.
I ran across
Yes.
someone who used a fork to eat Oreos.
Well, that's wild.
Stab the filling and drown that fucker like a witch. Changed my life.
That shit falls apart.
Nerd Rangers.
No, I try to use a fork one. That shit falls apart.
Wow.
So, welcome back, Ryan. Love having you back. And I think that's it. Chuckie, real quick, if you want to send questions, you can always...
You can email us at nerdrageradiomail@gmail.com.
Now, fun fact about that. Phil has already DM'd that lady's voice and asked her what she's up to this weekend. Now we had to have our thought provoker. So there's there's a picture of these two young ladies here.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I have one ready, but you got one.
I actually don't know those girls.
Is that Ocean City?
They're kind of gothy.
Okay.
One's got a big hat. Speaking of bloody drowning witches, am I right, Joe?
They look like they have no business on the beach.
No.
Like they've never been on
Like
the
they
beach
really
before.
need some sunscreen.
They don't have any sun.
It's funny you say that, Chris. Have you ever heard of Hot Girl Summer?
Yes, that's
Is that what we're doing?
Well, can I introduce you to Goth Girl Summer?
Oh,
I'm down.
okay with
It means
yeah.
going to the beach on the only overcast day of the entire summer. And my man Phil said, nothing like a winning pair.
Wow, just keep on winning, Phil.
So, Chuckie O, I want to thank you.
Yeah.
For those listening, Chuckie O does not live close. The rest of these guys live close. Chuckie O does not live close. Yeah. It is late at night. He came out to have this discussion, and I am very appreciative
no
for you,
problem.
sir.
Yeah, thanks for coming out.
Make some noise.
That's awesome.
I feel like that wasn't enough. I feel like we need to talk about aliens again.
Yeah, dude.
I love aliens.
I
Like,
think we got maybe we do a Predator conversation.
Yes.
And tie it back
again,
in.
I think once the new FX stuff comes out, be it Prey,
maybe we'll
Yeah.
revisit then.
But, like, you know from the shit, you know from the shit I'm
When is
referencing.
when is that on? What platform is it on?
Hulu.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna
So-
watch
So
it
it's
just
on
for the sake of the
August-
conversation.
August 5th is when
Yeah,
that movie
Prey.
comes
You're
out.
gonna have to remind me August 1st.
yeah, and then we still early 2023 for
Is
the
the
new
series, right?
Alien series on
And they're
Hulu.
still slating
I thought that was the MC Hammer documentary.
PREY.
Just to make it today.
But you know from the references I'm making, like I'm a fucking old school fan.
yeah, man.
Like I
Yeah,
love
yeah,
that
yeah.
shit from the 90s.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
gotta check out this game at some point with you.
But I do appreciate you coming out.
Oh, no
and I
problem.
do appreciate your information. You brought visual guides.
Oh, yeah,
you brought
yeah.
fucking
That's
great, man.
references. It's fucking, you're a wealth of knowledge on it. And I know we were only able to scratch the surface.
Sure.
Phil, thank you for coming out as well.
Thanks for inviting me, man.
Thank you for your continued work on notes and Twitter. Some of it in our name and some of it in your own name that you use our name for, but it's fine. And thanks to Dante holding down our Facebook, and thanks to Raul, who is going through some shit right now. I'm not going to go through it all, but he's going through some shit. Our thoughts and prayers are with him, and hope that it all works out well. This is nothing new to him. It's nothing to be alarmed about. He's been through this before. He's strong as a fucking ox, and he undoubtedly will pull through, and we'll be waiting for him when he gets back. And I'm trying to think, is there anyone else that we need to shout out, Joseph? Anyone else working perhaps behind the
Ricky?
scenes? Oh, Ricky Tiki Timber on the videos. On the videos. Who I listened to his segment with you at Skullfest sessions today. Just to do a proofread of everything.
Let me know when you get all that sorted. I want to listen back to
I did
because I
two so
really
far.
don't remember it.
I did too so far.
Did you do the one with the ladies yet?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Let me know when I can listen to that.
Yeah, it's that one's fine. It's
Okay.
it's more than fine. You were a gentleman.
I try to be. I was just excited to get my wife on the mic.
And we do an adjective and a body part on our way out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to give you a couple more seconds to get yourself together there. For those that are listening, also know that we are recording this on June 7th. So if you're like, why aren't they talking about the new news that just dropped yesterday where Ewan McGregor killed Kathy Kennedy in a fit of Filoni rage? Well, the answer is because it hasn't happened yet.
That's right. So
And,
this will come out Is this for
This is for next
20?
week. Right?
Do you
I
know,
don't know
Phil?
where we're at.
I'm going to give you a little piece of Jurassic Park trivia.
Oh.
You ready for this? I'm going to blow your mind, little man. The original script of Jurassic Park had Sam Neill puppeteer the actual skeleton of the T-Rex inside of the visitor center to stomp on and kill the velociraptors to save the children.
I've heard something about that, but I didn't know how validated it was.
I'm so glad they didn't bring that to film.
Yeah.
That would have been awful.
Yeah.
And with that, flappy labius.
Velvety vagina.
Globular thenar eminence.
Dang it, Bobby.
Tasty Tate.
Tight dick player.